set. Shall we begin? So we're going to call the work session, council work session, city manager work session meeting to order. It is a little after 6. And the Carnegie Library proposes use Thought Bubbles Learning Center and Kim LaPlante Art Center. Mr. Smith.
Yeah, as we discussed a few weeks ago, the different groups that have expressed interest are going to come and kind of give you a little more detail what they're thinking about. So tonight we have 2 of those groups, and we'll go ahead and start with Thought Bubbles. If you want to come forward, you can take a seat here. We got the mics ready for you. And we should be able to pull up your presentation.
You can come on up, Mike. It's okay. Welcome. What you got for us? Well, then, let's hear it.
I'm sure I can talk loud enough without that. There, oh, okay. Yeah, they'll probably want to know too.
You back that up and say you're the founders of what?
Thought Bubbles.
Okay, I thought you said thought bubbles.
Oh. We've gotten that a couple of times, and although our vanity would love to say that's true, it probably isn't as much as we want it to be. So our goal is to provide a space for community learning. We're not going to be your K through 12 or anything like that. We're just looking for the fun stuff, a place to gather and to learn for everybody. I know we're based off of homeschooling because that's what we are, but our goal is to be community led. So anybody and everybody is welcomed in our space.
And what she means by we are, the 2 of us are homeschooling parents.
Yes.
Thought Bubbles itself is not homeschool specific.
So what you're going to find with us is going to be an adventure zone, which will resemble a children's museum. Our goal is to have hands-on exhibits for kids to come play with, to learn, because learning should be more than just a book in front of you. So a lot of our stuff will be based off of that. This big hub for kids to come sit, parents can relax and enjoy themselves while their kids are entertained. We hope as we grow bigger and bigger to have a full-blown science lab. We have reduced that back for our phase 1 to a room that can be used for science and a classroom. So you'll be able to do a little bit of both because a 16,000 square foot building right now is not going to be our starting point. We wish to have a full-fledged art studio that will be open to the public to use at all hours. Music room for those who wish to teach lessons but maybe don't have space in their house or an instrument to play on their own, as well as a place for kids who maybe don't have a keyboard or a piano or instruments in their own home and can't afford to have them or don't have the space for them to come and practice. We hope to bring in tutors for all subjects for kids who need them, as well as a lending library. Our lending library will not be your books like our library has here. It will be educational supplies to help ease the cost for teachers, homeschoolers, and people who maybe just need a little extra for their kid at home, you know, like the math manipulables and maybe some extra little reading aids and that kind of stuff. So they'll be able to take it home and borrow it and then bring it back for the next family to use. Our goal is to have something for all ages. So like our adventure zone will be aimed more towards younger kids. So we have like a dig pit, a water table, magnet wall, scarf tunnels. Those will be our mainstay. Those will be there at all times for kids. Our water table, our dream is to have a replica of McNary Dam in it for kids to come play with. So they'll be able to raise and lower the sluice gates, open the water locks, and learn exactly how it works and how it's operated. The magnet wall will be something that can change for seasons, have something new and entertaining. So it'll run from how to design gears to a ball run to test out gravity. The scarf tunnel will just be fun. You'll learn a lot about aerodynamics and stuff like that with what we have planned. And the dig pit will range from dinosaur bones to find gemstones and learn how to judge the toughness and what they can be used for. Our rotating exhibits are going to be as many as we can fit in comfortably, but they're going to change every about 3 months or so. And we're hoping to touch on every topic possible. So things like extreme weather, let's do a little across the prairie and learn how a wagon train works and operates, to volcano activity. We even wish to touch on to life skills a little bit. My dream is to have a phone and a 911 station basically set up where we have a landline to a volunteer that will sit there and pretend to be 911 dispatch so kids can practice dialing and talking to somebody. So these are all AI renderings, just so you know, so nothing's set in stone with them, they're just examples. But our art studio is going to be a nice inviting place for people to come and relax, do a few art projects. We hope to bring in teachers to teach art. The dream for phase 2 or 3 will be to bring in kilns, pottery wheels, like anything and everything you can imagine. And our music rooms, we hope to start collecting all instruments and having them available as well. And then the meeting room, which will double as a science room. So we'll have supplies like your microscopes and that kind of stuff that will be usable, as well as basic chemistry stats and that kind of stuff for kids to use, all with proper supervision, of course. So we firmly believe that learning should be fun. So these are an example of the type of classes that we're hoping to bring in. We even included a city management class for fun. But we really do hope to have a wide range. So we're not just your basic run of the mill. We want everybody in the community who has knowledge and wish to share it so that they come in and share with the next generation. We want a spot where if you're bored at home and need some little extra socialization, but you like to keep your hands busy, we want you to come sit with us. So
Those classes are a little difficult to see, but one of them was silversmithing. Thank you. Then
Paint.
paint and snack, because, you know, we don't want to go for a liquor license. So uh, pe- we'd provide snacks instead. Then the city management 101. Then we'd have also offer series of classes. So like painting 101 or
a mom and me support group for new parents that just need a little place to cry it out and be told that you're okay, you got this.
and then one of the last ones would be creative budgeting. And again, these are just ideas of the classes and the workshops that we would like to offer. It would be dependent on our volunteers and our instructors that we have that are willing to come forth and put in the effort.
An instructor named IB Broke.
Yes. We got creative with names.
It's a creative budgeting, so interesting choice.
So we do believe that learning should feel like an adventure and not an obligation. And that's what we want to create with this space, somewhere to help, especially kids and maybe that adult who's tempted to go for a higher education but hasn't gotten the nerves up to go do it, a place where they feel comfortable exploring the new levels of learning, because we really do need to teach everybody that you learn every single day, whether it's fun or if it's, you know, a dry textbook.
Okay.
That's our spiel. We love questions, so please feel free to ask any questions and we'll do our best to answer.
Let's see, Ms. Linton, I saw your hand first.
I would like to know, is this an accredited school?
No, so we will not be accredited since we're not doing a K through 12 curriculum. We do not need the accreditation. Like the tutors, if they wish to be accredited, they can. We're hoping to bring in some licensed teachers. We've actually had a few reach out to us with hopes of tutoring. So we will have a few, but we do not need it to operate.
Just have one more question. Can you tell me what your past experience has been? Have you been doing this a year, 5 years, somewhere else, or please?
I owned and operated a dance studio in my teen years, and then I have worked with nonprofits back in my hometown of Southern Oregon. And so my experience is based off of that group. Between every member on our board, though, we have a wide variety of experience from education into business.
Thank you.
Thought Bubbles itself has been incorporated for 1 year now. We received our 501c3 declaration letter from the IRS in July of last year, which was actually really speedy, thanks to our attorneys. And so we've been in our fundraising and finalizing our phase one plans and our fundraising budget since then.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Councilor Meyer. I just thought I saw your hand over here.
No.
Okay. Councilor Ron?
Too, but wasn't enough.
I see that you have classes for 13-year-olds starting at 3 o'clock. Classes, at least in the Hermiston School District in this area, don't get done for that age group until 3:18 or 3:30.
So the class schedule we have on there is 100% hypothetical.
Okay.
Our plan is to have open hours for the general public that will run, I believe we did 9 to 6 in the evening. However, the classes themselves, we are willing to open for private rentals, if would be the best way to explain it, off of hours. So whatever the teacher wishes to do, we will make certain that there is a room available for them. So for our public school children, there will be offerings during their non-school hours. We are also planning on being open during all holiday breaks, as well as at least every other Saturday.
Again,
Where-
that's a tentative schedule. So as we get closer, we'll pin down more openings and be aware of the school schedule as well.
And have you been inside the Carnegie building to see if all of these things that you have in mind will work?
We have once or twice between the two of us, and we did get the square footage, and we believe we can get in there. It won't be our dream size, but we will be able to fit everything in, and we will need to combine a couple of classrooms. So originally, we were going to have the art studio, the science lab, a couple of meeting rooms, and several music rooms. To fit in there, we will have to combine a couple of those ideas, but we don't see it being an issue, at least for the first 3 years, while we get people in and out. After that, we will be working on a phase 2 plan.
The one that makes me nervous is the water, the playing with the water. I mean, it sounds like a lot of fun, but spilling the water or having a big water leak in your building?
We have actually considered that throughout our building shopping repertoire. We do have a plan for the table to be built up kind of on a platform concept. So the water area will have a splash zone, so the water is draining into a pan, so there should never be water on the floor itself.
A lot of children's museums have water tables and they do have systems set up like that. Because obviously mold growth is a major problem when you bring water into any sort of building.
And what is your funding source?
We are working on grants. We did receive the Amazon Change X grant in the fall, and we got about 6 more of them that we're applying to this year alone. We will be working off of memberships once we get open, and it will be a cheap, affordable membership. We're looking at $125 for a family of 8, as well as the classes. They will be separate from the memberships. So the membership will get you in for the play zones and open hours in the art studio. And then if you want private sessions and stuff, that will be a separate charge.
And, sorry,
That's okay.
my last question. You talked about the teachers. Are you going to be the source of the hiring process? So will these be like full-time
No,
employees? Are
so-
you looking for volunteers?
we're looking at subcontracting and independent contractors for the first 2 years. Our goal is to put as much money into our exhibits and our classrooms as possible. So we've chosen to do subcontractors so we don't have to worry about the extra fees that come with having an employee. And then in phase 3, we'll be looking at hiring employees once we have the ball rolling and we are stable and set up. So to start with, though, we will have subcontractors, so they will be charging for the classes themselves, not us.
We will also have volunteers teaching too, not just
Yes.
subcontractors.
And we do already have several people lined up who have expressed interest. So we do have probably about 7 to 8 classes worth of instructors already lined up, just waiting for us to open.
Councilor Kelso?
Thank you. Do you have a written business plan that you could share with us?
I actually do.
You were emailed it a little while ago, I think.
Were we?
But yeah,
Your-
we do have other copies.
What's your estimated revenue for your first year?
Give me a second.
That's her job.
I am the money person. And just to go back, we will also be fundraising because as a 501c3, in addition to grants, we can't operate just off of income from memberships and from our class fees, which we do plan on keeping minimal. So fundraising will be part of our ongoing efforts as we continue to operate. Let me see. I grabbed the wrong one. I'm sorry. Our projected year one budget as far as our income goes, it would be $105,000. That's based on an estimate of 20 new, yearly memberships every month, 10 new, 6-month memberships every month, and a 10 people a day entering using our daily membership. And also 20 students a day in our classes, and then our room rentals, We have sat down, and our fundraising goal, which is $350,000, includes all of our estimated year one expenses, including our startup fees and our shopping list for all of the supplies needed for starting our building.
Do you have a line of credit or any sort of credit vehicle that you could work with?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. And I guess that's all the questions I have for now. Thank you.
Counselor.
What's your plan for the basement?
That's one that we've been working on because we understand that it's currently not ADA accessible. And so we're currently planning on it being used for storage and supplies. And then if we do have somebody who wishes to use it, I know the ham radio was looking for a space. So it'd be used for stuff like that.
I gotta give everybody else a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
We assumed it was one of those where it'd be super expensive to turn it into ADA acceptable. And so we're operating all of our thoughts off the basis of it would be part of the rest of it at the moment.
So office,
Down there,
Right.
once you get down there,
Exactly.
office space would also be another one, and
Yeah.
things like that, that did not require ADA accessibility at this point.
Go ahead, Counselor Duran, with your second question.
The classes that you will provide, are they going to be matched up to the Oregon teaching standards, or are you guys going to deviate from that?
We will be deviating essentially. We do not plan on setting the curriculum ourselves. We have a fantastic school district that is taking care of that for us. So what we are offering is a space for people who want to teach something that's not at the school. So we don't need to worry too much about the Oregon guidelines and standards. Our tutors will obviously be teaching the stuff that, is taught, but that's a little different than us teaching a full-blown class. So if the best example I can give you would be signing your kid up for a music class or an art class. The rest of it will be things like we really are hoping to bring in somebody to do a financial planning class. So it'll be stuff like that, like the extra knowledge that you don't always get to in public school, and the little tiny extras like the dessert of education.
And we're not offering credits or any sort of, credit hours, or I can't think of the other word right off the top of my head, but anything that would go towards them graduating. That is not what we offer at all. If someone wanted to come in and, approach us and be like, hey, I want to teach kids how to fix, or anyone how to fix a radio or something, then we'll run the background check, sign them up as a volunteer and get their class out there so people can learn. Because it's something that, we're very passionate about, obviously, we spent this much time putting this together, but it's something that I grew up with. I grew up with mentors. I grew up with a Vietnam veteran that loved to tear things apart and showed me how to get into animatronics. I helped him refinish a World War II Jeep that he then taught me how to drive in a stick shift. And those are things that we are losing as our older generation is aging. And so to have an atmosphere and a place where community members can come and share those skills, because these kids are bored. We have community members that are bored, and it would help rekindle that love of learning for everyone and that love of teaching also.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
because we have another group coming, I just want to let you know we're about halfway through, so.
I was kind of looking like we were pretty much towards the end of it. I only had one question for you. Have you guys seen or noticed anything operating in this nature anywhere else to be
We-
able to, use that information to base your student draw from, do we have the call? Do we have the bandwidth basically for that type of thing to operate here?
So from the very beginning, we did reach out, and we have been mentored by education resource centers clear across the US now. And we are reaching out to children museums for mentorship as well. And we have a few of them on board. And so everything that we have done has been with help from people who are currently doing it or in the process of doing it. So we have very carefully picked and choosed off of what they're doing for what our town needs and what we've seen on Facebook for people asking for. So we do feel very confident that what we have set up will be achievable.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for bringing that. We appreciate it. I know it's a kind of tough to have rocks thrown at you the entire time. So
Hey, it keeps us on our toes, and thank you very much for the opportunity for us to share our idea and our hopes and dreams.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our second idea is for a community arts center. And Kim, you want to come forward? You can either stand or sit, however you are more comfortable.
It's not going to take as long as that because they were super prepared and had all kinds of good stuff. It was great. And actually, a lot of the stuff that they brought is a lot of the stuff that I honestly, I think that we need here too. So I don't know if I need to introduce myself or.
Please do.
Yeah, Kim LaPlante. I'm a local artist. I've been doing it for about 35 years. I have a studio here in Hermiston, and also have had a kind of a homeless outreach for about 11 years, and then was a Sunday school teacher for 9 years, and taught puppets for kids and outreach for that too for years and years too. So just going to go off my notes. I don't have anything fancy like that because I'm not a but I just want to say that what that's was great. A lot of the things that they said is something that I believe that we could all work together, so that would be great. So I just wrote this. Thank you for giving me the time to speak today. Let's see. I'm here because I believe our community needs a creative community learning center, something more for our kids and for our people in general. We need a space where creativity, connection, and support comes together. Right now, 1 in 5 youth are struggling with mental health challenges and dropping out of school, and many of them don't have a safe place to go after school. That time between school and evening is the most critical window in a child's day, when kids are either finding support or falling through the cracks. Programs that provide art, music, and hands-on creativity and basic skills opportunities are proven to help. They reduce anxiety, they improve behavior, helps kids build confidence, social skills, and a sense of identity. And maybe most importantly, they give kids a way to express the way, excuse me, they don't have words yet, because not every kid fits into sports. I did not. I was a shy, poor farm kid that loved to create. And like me, not every child thrives in a traditional classroom or in public, because this is really, I feel like I'm going to vomit. So, but every child or person needs to feel seen, valued, and capable of something. And when kids and adults have access to programs like this, we see stronger emotional behavior, better decision-making, fewer behavior problems, and a better long-term outcome. And when they don't when they don't have that, it's the opposite. Isolation, even with adults, isolation, struggles with self-worth, higher risk of behavior, poor behavior, missed opportunities to connect. This isn't just about art or creativity. It's about prevention, to be honest. It's about creating a safe place where kids and adults can come together, learn from each other, and build something meaningful. My vision is a creative space that brings together basically what the gals were talking about. It's great. Artists, musicians, makers, mentors, homeschoolers, creative minds, hobbyists, and community members. A place where you can learn to think outside the box, draw, paint, build, play an instrument, open studio times, theater classes, basic skills where you feel like you belong, where veterans and seniors can use their knowledge, where they can, you know, like a senior that's in the nursing home and you know, he was a vet like she was talking about, and he's there and he doesn't have anybody to talk to. He has all this knowledge, and for them to come and sit with these kids and teach them things that's disappearing, like they were talking about, where history can be shared by having, this is what I think about what they could do for the museum, where you can share by having the walls full of Hermiston's rich history and have a system where you can scan, see the information, and a couple of days a week have a museum volunteer guiding someone while classes, laughter, and music are filling the building, where creativity becomes connection. Because when people feel connected, they do better, they make better choices, they support each other, and that strengthens an entire community. If we want healthier kids, fulfilled seniors, safer neighborhoods, and stronger futures, this is how you start. We don't wait until there's a crisis. We build something that prevents it. And I don't have the thing that they have, and I am just one person. This is me just alone. It's just an idea I've had for 11 years when I worked at the Hermiston Herald and the East Oregonian. And I actually wanted to do this before and tried to find a building, and have been trying to do something like this for years and years. And I don't have, what they have. I don't have the teachers and none of that. I honestly think that we could collaborate. This is just me sharing something that I think would be a good idea. But and I don't know what else to say. It's just my idea. I looked at the building and I think it's very usable. The basement would be an issue. The only thing I think that maybe a younger, like someone younger could use the bottom portion if they couldn't, get down there, that kind of thing. I was listening to you guys earlier. But yeah, if you have any questions, I don't know if I can answer them, but I'll try.
Council questions? Council Linton?
Your presentation was very good. Both were, since I just say that to you as well. Are you interested of doing fundraising? Are you interested in trying to buy the building or rent the building? I don't know if the building's up for sale, just asking.
See, and that's the thing. And I don't know. My understanding of it was I wanted to ask if the city wanted to be in, like with Pendleton, because I taught at the Pendleton's Art Museum, and the way they do it there is the city, has a lot of hand in it, and then they do some fundraising and things like that. But yeah, that's why I just started this. I don't know. That's the thing. I'm just presenting this, saying it would be a good idea. I'm not necessarily one that wants to run it, because I am not that person, but on the creative side, I'm more than willing to help or do whatever. I'm just presenting something I think that would be super cool for it, and especially with the museum portion. But the fundraising part, I mean, I'm just, yeah, like I said, it's just me. I've never done anything like this. It's just, I'm way behind them. They've already done, all of that. So, yeah, but I think that it's so desperately needed here. I think that it's a very huge missed opportunity. Because music and arts and things like that, it's very needed here. It just is. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if I answered that. I apologize.
Councilor Meyer.
Sounds to me like you would
Yeah.
do well with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys should kind of
Yeah.
stick together.
No, I think it's great. I mean, shoot, I would love to be one of the teachers. I just wanted to present this.
That's like exactly what you
Right.
do.
Exactly.
Already got the ball.
Yeah, no, that's great. And the museum portion of it, I think that is really important. That's why I was thinking, cover the walls in Hermiston's history, have a system where, because now everybody's on their phone, they can scan it, look at that, and then somebody volunteer 2 or 3 times a week. That way you have the museum portion, but they can use, or whoever can use the floor space for teaching. That way you will have a dual, and then, yeah, I think that would be great. So when I came here and I saw their thing, I was like, oh, shoot, that's almost the same thing I want to do. So I think it's awesome.
There's a lot of art in the basement here, huh, Byron? Don't have to move it.
There's a lot of artists here, and I think having the art yeah. Oh, no, I'm saying like for this too, I think having some of the art history here too up on the walls. And I mean, there's a lot of rich history here that people don't realize. And I think utilizing both, as maybe if that's what they do, utilizing that facility for that, but also having a dual, having the museum on the walls, but use the floor space for that. I think that would be super doable. I mean, this is just me. Like I said, this is just me presenting an idea. I'm not, you know.
You're doing fine, and
Thanks.
I think you would do well.
Yeah.
To get with him.
Yeah.
See where you could go.
Yeah.
Other council comments? Well, looks like you're off the hook on this one.
That's
But
it.
I agree. I think you should definitely collaborate.
Thank you.
It's not a public, there's no public comment on this. Okay, any other things you have for the work session, sir?
No, these were the 2 groups. Next meeting, we plan to arrange to have the other 2 groups here.
Okay. With that, then I guess you can ask a question.
So can I just, for my update, how did these groups come about?
They all reached out to the city and expressed interest in the building, in using the building.
Thank you. And so if we were to move forward in a direction, we'd be basically coming up with some level of usage agreement of some kind.
Yes.
Can you tell us who the other 2 groups are?
Yeah, the museum group that presented before you a couple of years
years
ago
ago.
now.
Oh, Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the Ham Radio Association.
Okay.
Or is that the right word, Mr. Kelso?
That was totally wrong, but
Okay,
no.
thanks.
The Hermiston Amateur Radio Club.
Amateur radio. Yeah.
I did have another question, Byron. Has there been any discussion about what this usage agreement would look like in terms of upkeep for the building and utilities and all of that?
No, I mean, not really. We have some agreements with other similar, nonprofits to use some city buildings. So I think we would utilize that and our experience with that to kind of craft something that would work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll close the work session and have the regular council session at 7:00. we are there. All right, it is 7 o'clock. We're gonna call the Monday, April 27th edition of the Hermiston Urban Renewal and City Council meeting to order. And we have a quorum with two counselors, Counselor Hayward and Counselor Barone, both excused. And I would like everybody to join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. With the council's permission, and I'm asking that we move item 11B, the review and for the charter discussion and results, up to just before the ordinances. Anybody on the council wish to comment? Any changes to that? All right, then we're gonna move 11B to right after 9 at this point in time. Any other changes to the deal, Mr. Okay. All right.
Yes, was there any other for the consent agenda?
No,
No, okay. I was just checking.
no, I haven't got that yet.
All right.
We're at proclamations and presentations. And first off, proclamation for National Day of Prayer. I have National Day of Prayer Coordinator, Ms. Palmer. Hi, Amy. Welcome back.
Or Mr. Mayor, excuse me.
It's-
Yeah, it's good to see you. Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I am here to just give you a little bit of information about the upcoming National Day of Prayer, which is next Thursday. I appreciate your past and ongoing support for this very important day in our nation. And I invite you to attend any or all of the events that we are hosting throughout the city as your schedule allows. I also want to thank the members of my team who were critical in the planning process, reaching out to pastors and other community leaders, setting up the website, which is new, we have never had one before, for Hermiston, and getting the word out. I am deeply grateful for their assistance, support, and encouragement. These people include Dan Mahon, pastor at Oasis, who is also my pastor, Gail Cherry, pastor at Solid Rock, Joe Gonzalez, pastor at Grace Baptist, Lyle Smith, Umatilla City Councilor, Leah Stockard, and Shannon Morgan. I want to just give you a few highlights of what we're doing in Hermiston and Umatilla this year. In the past, we have just had one prayer gathering for the day. Various churches have hosted the gatherings. We've also had a gathering here in front of City Hall. But what we found was that participation was small, either because of the time of day we chose, if it was middle of the day or evening, it didn't offer enough opportunities for people to participate. So this year, we decided to hold gatherings throughout the day at various locations and times. Some will meet in churches, some at parks, some in front of schools, some at Good Shepherd, and others in front of City Hall, which I'll be hosting that at noon. Others will be participating in prayer walks. I am very pleased to say that we have 12 gatherings planned, starting from 10 a.m., going until 8 p.m., which should provide ample opportunities for the community to participate. Anyone can attend any or all of these gatherings as they choose. Also, for the first time this year, we have Oasis Church, the Nazarene Church, Zeal Church, Grace Baptist, and the Catholic Church hosting prayer gatherings or prayer walks. Most of them have participated in the past, but this is the first time that they're actually hosting a gathering. Also, for the first time, there will be a prayer gathering at Good Shepherd. They're going to be meeting in their conference, one of their conference rooms, and they're very excited about that. And also the newly opened Umatilla Business Center. So this is also new. We've not had a gathering at Umatilla before, so we're excited about that. The Seventh-day Adventist Church is going to be praying during their weekly community meal that they hold on Thursdays. So, and we're going to be praying for local, state, and national leaders, schools, teachers, students, and everyone involved in the education system, first responders, hospice, and hospital staff, and many other aspects of our community and nation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Council Jerome?
So I am looking at your flyer, what we see on the screens.
Mhm.
And my question to you is, the meeting is at Harrison Park?
So
Did you mean West Park Elementary?
So Zeal Church is hosting two gatherings. One will be at Rocky Heights and one will be at Harrison Park. So they're both scheduled between 5 and 8 p.m., but I'm not sure, who will be leading at each one of those places.
It's okay. I just want to make sure because it says Harrison Park Elementary.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my bad.
That's okay.
That's my typo. Too much copying and pasting.
It's great. I just wanted for people to know that.
Thank you.
That's why I was asking that clarifying question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Whereas throughout the history of America, prayers have been lifted, seeking the Lord in every generation for direction, protection, and provision, pouring out prayers to the God of hope in times of crisis and celebration, in prosperity and need, and in times of war and peace, so that God would be glorified and bless America, resulting in Americans being filled with his glory, grace, and goodness, as he has answered our prayers for over 250 years. And whereas, from the first prayers of our Continental Congress in 1774 to the opening of every session of the House of Representatives and Senate, and throughout hearts and homes across America, the practice of prayer continues to seek God for guidance, wisdom, power, protection, and provision that has preserved hope and united us as one nation under God. And whereas the National Day of Prayer is a public law established in the United States Congress in 1952, approved by a joint resolution signed by President Truman and amended by Congress and President Reagan with Public Law 100-307 in 1988, affirming that it is essential for us as a nation to pray, and directs the President of the United States to set aside and proclaim the first Thursday of May annually as a National Day of Prayer. And whereas in our city and across America, the observance of the National Day of Prayer will be held on Thursday, May 7th, 2026, with the theme, Glorify God Among the Nations, Seeking Him in All Generations, based on the verse in 1 Chronicles 16:24. Tell of his glory among the nations, his wonderful deeds among all peoples. And now, therefore, I, Doug Primer, Mayor of Hermiston, Oregon, do hereby proclaim May 7th, 2026 as a day of prayer throughout our city, and I commend this observance to our citizens and request that prayers be lifted up throughout the city with every generation, seeking the Lord as we rededicate our lives, city, and nation to the glory of God. Signed this 27th day of April, 2026. And I'm signing that right now. We need it. We need the guidance, we need the help. And please do. I don't know how to be any more than that. Next up, excuse me, presentation, I Love My City from Oasis Vineyard Church Pastor Dan Mayon. Sir,
Hello, Mr. Mayor and council members.
greeting.
Good to see you again. I'm here actually on behalf of the executive team of the I Love My City Preparation and Planning Committee, and we were commended by Councilmember Alan Hayward, who's absent tonight, but he suggested that we bring this before you all. It was brought to the Faith-Based Advisory Committee where we updated those members of what was happening. And so this year, May 16th, Saturday, May 16th, is our annual I Love My City celebration and work day that we will be doing. I believe this is either the 10th or 11th year consecutively that we've been doing this. And been a great collaboration amongst the churches and the city and various organizations now that have begun and continued participating in various ways with us. Just a couple of highlights that I want to draw your attention to. It runs from 9 to noon. There is a website that you can go to, ilovehermiston.com, and you can go on and sign up there. Anyone can sign up to participate in any of the events that are not already filled. And so this year we made it something in the spirit of collaboration to say, hey, let's get the people from different churches, different groups to partner together in doing this. And so that's the way we've organized it this year. Signups are live and active, and people have been filling those, and we look forward to that continuing to happen. This year, we also are partnering with the code enforcement officer in terms of doing some graffiti cleanup and other activities that he may have for us. That's a new thing this year. Last year, we added haircuts in 3 different locations, including Stepping Stones and at Sherwin-Williams, and then a site over off of West 11th Street. And that will be happening again this year, primarily for the homeless and those in need. We are also returning the diaper drive at Agape House. So there will be a diaper drive for those in need. And at both that site and at the haircut sites, we will have multiple prayer tents available for anyone who would be in need or request or desire prayer. Yeah, we're going to be partnering with Brandon Arts and the Park Department in cleaning up the streets as well as in multiple parks. So there's a lot of activities happening around the I Love My City. And we're excited to have Walmart and Amazon and Rotary participating as well as over 10 plus churches that we know of already who are participating. Seems like there is a lunch at noon at McKenzie Park that is free and welcome for all those who are participating. And similar to last year, we are partnering with the first responder chaplains and blessing the first responders in our community. And they're going to have some toys there, I believe, for everyone to come and see and hang out and be a part of that. So we encourage everyone to come out for that lunch. The folks that do the community dinners are blessing us with that meal. And so it's a great, just overall community morning and event. So any questions that I can answer for you?
Council questions? Councilor Linton?
The diaper that you said was going to be at Agape House, you're giving out free diapers?
Free diapers and wipes as first come, first serve. We've done it the last 2 years. This will be our 3rd year doing that. If anyone would like to make donations, they can let us know at Oasis Vineyard. They can drop those off. We'll be receiving, and we've been partnering with different groups. And so just a way to bless those in the community, yeah.
Okay, and that'll start at 9 a.m. to 12, the same time as cleaning, or-
We might start that at 8:30. We'll be advertising on Facebook and because they do, it's also the day they do their yard sale. And so that one might start a little bit early, but 8:39 right in there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
Counselor Kelso?
I don't have a question, but I have a couple comments. We hope to have some Kiwanians there too, so
Oh,
that'll
awesome.
be nice. And Brandon has asked me to volunteer. He's not here tonight, but he's asked me to volunteer to be the gatekeeper at the recycling event at New Hope. And I felt compelled, mostly in my own self-preservational interest, to note that there's a limit of 10 tires this year and no rims. I almost met my end last year trying to stop people from bringing tires in. So please be gentle, people. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else other than trying to save Counselor Kelso's life? All right, this is a great event. We've been doing this 10 or 11 years. I too cannot remember how long it's been taking place, but I know that I love the partnership that the city works with on this and the amount of people that literally show the love for this city. And it just can't be said enough that this is such a fantastic event. As a reminder, May 16th, 9 to 12. Also sign up for things on ilovehermiston.com, all one word.
Yes.
Sign up. So please, pretty please with sugar on top if that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Help.
And if you do sign up, there will be communications sent in advance to let you know, hey, show up at this place at this time for the event that you are registered for. And that way everybody knows what they need to wear and be prepared and so forth. So thank you.
Wear sturdy shoes and back braces. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else? Any others? None? Okay. We are now at the first opportunity for citizen input on non-agenda items. Anyone wishing to bring anything before the council that is not on the agenda is asked to please do the following. Please limit your comments to not more than 5 minutes. State your name and place of residence and direct your comments to me. Anybody? Your hand up first. Welcome.
I'm on the back of the first meeting that we had with Kim LaPlante and the Arts Carnegie Center proposed idea. A little bit about myself. My name is Leah. Yes, Leah Stockard. I live now in Umatilla, Oregon. My address is 1611 2nd Street. We live down by the park and marina, so we get to enjoy Umatilla landing days. But I have lived in Hermiston most of my time in this area, about 40 years. But one thing, my background is a designer, art teacher, artist. Back in 1980, I moved into this area. There was a studio up above the Bliss building, if any of you know where that was at. And I was with Sandra Campbell. There was just a few artists in town. And Bonnie and Glenn Greiner, the Wild Goose, worked with them on projects out of this area. And we were always working with the high school, Arts in the Park, Hermiston Art Walk. And these are somewhat well attended. We were always hoping for more. But the thing is about the arts in this area, you have to know who to seek out because there's really no one to find us or no place that promotes the arts in a way that the arts could really benefit the community largely. And I think with living in Umatilla and seeing all the commuting traffic into this area for people that live up in Tri-Cities and come into Hermiston, it's really discouraging or a shame. I feel that we could benefit if we had more presence of the arts, music. We had Desert Arts Council, art auctions, bigger events. And it's just been a struggle throughout the years to keep those alive. Baker City, Pendleton, LeGrand have a Carnegie building, and all of them have been reestablished as an art center. Also, Enterprise, Joseph, and Burns, they don't have a Carnegie building, but they have an art center. In the Eastern Oregon flyer, travel flyer, we are not mentioned because we don't have an art center. So the importance of the arts is not just for a place for children to come and paint cute little pictures. We consider ourselves very important to the community and passionately want to be used more. By having a designated area for, in the Carnegie Building, will be a place that even people from out of town, if they don't know where to go, if the city hall is closed, they can come to us and we would be able to show them the benefits of living here or performing here. So please give us a second chance to prove ourselves, and we would love to be a part of enhancing Hermiston, the greater Hermiston area.
Thank you. Mr. Dorn?
Well, I'm kind of in a place to tag on perfectly to what she's talking about. So my name is R.B. Doran. I'm at 950 Southwest 7th Street here in Hermiston, Oregon. A lot of you folks I know, a lot of you may not be familiar with me, but you are familiar with my brother and the rest of the family. I'm here to talk about a way that my wife and I have decided we want to give back to the community. I've always believed, I've retired as a high-tech executive, that the rising tide lifts all ships. And so what we decided to do is we want to start utilizing EOTech for something other than the fair and rodeo and a few horse events and some quinceañeras, but to try to establish another festival on the other side of the calendar. And that is the Cartoons Music Festival that we'll have on June 12th and 13th out at EOTech, which will involve a car show as well as a music festival inside the arena. A lot of people don't realize that our rodeo arena out there, without any modifications, can seat 8,000. And, you know, once again, we're talking about music coming to town. We're trying to bring in, you know, something that the city can definitely be a part of and have as a destination. We've never been able to establish ourselves as a quote unquote destination city, much like Pendleton or Tri-Cities and Yakima and some of the others. So here we're trying to give the city an opportunity at this point. So I guess the easiest way I've handed out the posters, do I have questions?
Council questions? Looks like yeah, your flyer tends to answer most of them.
Yes.
So I'm sure that if, you know, if we do run into some of those questions, that we will actively seek you out.
I actually have some business cards. My name is not on any of those things, so I'll hand those out real quick before I step off.
That would be fine.
But I'm surprised you're not asking the obvious question, which usually comes from a city council that says, "What do you want from us?" And really, if you don't want to answer that question, I'm looking for engagement. I'm looking for participation. I don't know what that looks like. You all know what that looks like better than I do. I'm one person, you know, originally I planned on staying more behind the scenes, but I've kind of got a new job now that I'm retired. But really I don't know what that looks like for each entity on how you would engage. For example, I've got a meeting with,
Chief Edmiston?
Chief, sorry, it's because I knew you before. You know, in a couple of weeks or a week or so, we'll talk about how the police can help us out. I'm trying to get a hold of the fire department. You know, I've talked to the National Guard. But you all are involved in the city. I have not networked in Hermiston. That was never my job. I was more out in the rest of the United States. And you all know people and things like that. On the website, there are sponsor forms, which, you know, sponsorships are great. Way to get involved, get your banner up, as well as vendor forms if you know people that want to, you know, be part of the festival and, you know, have a food or beverage or, you know, merchandise kind of thing as well. The whole festival, please picture it as a festival. It's not a concert. It's not a car show. It's a festival. So along with that, so when you walk onto the grounds, the car show is basically free. And over to one side, we will have what I'm going to call the 6-7 zone, basically the kids zone. You know, they get the name. I don't get the name, but they, you know, that's the whole idea. So, you know, so we want it to be something that if you don't have any money other than $10 for parking, you could bring the whole family and have a fun day goofing around and seeing some eye candy and stuff like that. But then if, want to be part of the concerts, the ticket prices are really way under what you would normally find at most of your festivals nowadays. Any other questions?
Are you planning on alcohol service?
There will be alcohol there, yes.
Okay.
We're shopping vendors. We're getting our requests for proposals.
Okay.
I don't see a concert ticket price listed.
No, on the ticket sites, what you'll find is, so for Friday night, it's $55. For Saturday night, it's $65. For 2 days, it's $110. Then that gets you general admission, which means you can go up and sit in the bleachers, or you can go stand down on the floor. We're not gonna allow in, lawn chairs and that kind of thing this time around. We'll see how it plays out. But the box seats are all reserved. And the funny thing is we price the box seats, which gets you 8 2-day GA tickets, or 8 2-day tickets, is priced only $20 more than if you bought 8 2-day GA tickets. So, and that gets you a reserved spot right there, around the ring, as they say.
Any other questions? All right.
Okay, let me do that real quick to see y'all have.
Sounds like it could be an interesting event. I think I'm out of town that day, but those days. In any case, so those of you out there in the public know that this is coming. It looks like a fairly well-rounded event. Thank you, sir. And we'll, I'm sure, look forward to additional information as becomes available. Okay, next up, consent or any other citizen input? Seeing none. Now we'll move on. Consent agenda items. We have consent agenda items A through F. Are there any council questions in regards to consent agenda items A through F? Yes, ma'am.
I would like to pull C and D.
Okay, we will get to that
Okay.
in a couple minutes, there's a couple seconds. Any other questions? Okay, public comment on consent agenda items A through F. Okay, council comments. Now does council wish to remove any items?
Sorry for jumping the gun.
That's okay.
I would like to move agenda items C and D.
Consent agenda items C and D. Any others? Council Roberts.
I would like to pull item F.
Okay, consent agenda items C, D, and F are being removed to have their own little deal. So in regards, any other removals? You got it? Yeah, there's 3 left, so. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve consent agenda items A, B, and E?
So moved. Second.
Okay, been moved by Councilor McCarthy, second by Councilor Roberts. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Okay, motion passes unanimously on consent agenda items A, B, and E. All right, items removed. Item C, Councilor Litton, you wish to have that one removed.
Yes. In the proposal, it was saying with the liquor application that children will be present. And so I wanted to know,
It's a restaurant license. It's a restaurant license, so children are there like you are in most restaurants.
Yes, but
there.
it also said they're put in for a liquor license and that children were present. So are they going, what my question was going to be, is there a certain time, like say, up until 9 PM, then children are not allowed because then they'll be serving liquor with the meals?
Well, I believe the restaurants can serve liquor with the meals throughout the time under this type of a license. And that's what, the other restaurants in the community have as well.
Oh, here in Hermiston, they have it
Yes.
with it. Okay, because a couple of places I've gone to, the children can't be
Well, they're not supposed to go in the bar if there's a dedicated bar area.
Mhm.
A minor can't go in there, but they can serve alcohol in the restaurant when any age person is there, according to the rules.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or any questions on C? Yes, sir.
So this wouldn't be different than any other standard restaurant liquor license that we would have granted in the past, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, Mr. Tevy, do we need to do these, approve these one at a time after they've gone over them, or do we do them all at once?
Let's do it one at a time. If
Okay,
we got
just
through
be
that
safe.
one, let's do the motion and then we'll just.
All
take
right,
them.
perfect. Okay, so can I get a motion to approve, or wait, question, any other council comments? Okay. And
Public comment?
any public comment? Council comments? Council, can I get a motion to approve consent agenda item C?
So moved?
Second.
Been moved by Council Roberts, or Councilor McCarthy, seconded by Councilor Roberts. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Okay, motion passes unanimously. Okay, D, right-of-way construction acceptance, Northeast Aspen Drive, Councilor Litton.
Okay, I thought this was the one with, excuse me, with the AAA.
Mhm.
It is.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. My question is, because I didn't have a chance to read all of it, I got sick, so I'm behind, apologize. The price that they're asking for, I wanted to know the difference of the price, and what they paid for it in 2024.
I could not tell you the purchase price off the top of my head.
Okay.
It's in the neighborhood of 2 million, but
For the whole parcel.
for the whole
right?
parcel, yeah.
Right.
Okay, I saw that they bought it for 1.5 million, but I couldn't find the selling, what the asking price was. So it'd be around 2 million, so, okay. All right, thank you very much.
Any other council questions on consent agenda item D? Seeing none, council or public comment on consent agenda item D, right-of-way? Seeing none, council comments? Seeing none? Motion to approve?
So moved?
Second.
Councilor Roberts speech, motion by Councilor McCarthy, second by Councilor Roberts again. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Consent agenda item F, Councilor Roberts.
Consent agenda item F has to do with moving the May 25th meeting to May 26th because of the Memorial Day. I know that we've struggled to engage with city. It's been one of our things is to engage with them. So I figured I wanted to bring it up in open council, make the statement on the record that that's what we're intending to do, and also just give us all a chance to say, are we all available that day, and could we have a quorum? So I am available that day, by the way.
Does anybody?
25th or 26th?
26th.
The 26th. So the question on this is, can we or should we reschedule the city council meeting dated Monday 25th, which is Memorial Day, to Tuesday, May 26th? Does anybody have, if you want to check your schedules, is everybody good with that as a change? Anybody have a problem with that? Let us know. Okay. All right, so it appears that there is at least a consensus at this point of moving it. Any other council comments or questions? Public comment? Seeing none. Council comments? Seeing none. Can I get a motion to approve consent agenda item F?
So moved.
Second.
Oh, well, Ms. Meyer beat you to it. Counselor Meyer on the motion, and second to Counselor McCarthy. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. All right. So now we are at the change of the order of things. We're going to go to the
Other.
review and discussion. We've covered all the consent items. So we're going to move to the review and discussion of the next steps for charter review committee results. Mr. Smith.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, so tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the process we went through to come to this point. That started out with a resolution adopted by the council, establishing a committee, and they've gone through a process. Now we're back to the council for possible recommendation to place some items on the ballot. So they started to meet, the committee first met in October of 2025. They held 4 different meetings, completed their review. These were the requirements in the resolution. They've met the 6 to 9 months. They've held a publicly advertised public hearing, town hall. There were 7 members. Mayor Primer was the city council liaison. And here we are making a recommendation to the council. So they reviewed the entire charter. We walked through all of it, page by page, section by section, with paying particular attention to these specific sections. Here's the names of the members of the committee. We have a number of those here tonight. If you want to wave your hand or.
I think we have all but one here, don't we?
Yeah, I think you're right. So, they did a very thorough job as far as taking a look at all of these issues. So this is a presentation that I used to introduce the charter changes at the town hall. So I'm going to skip through a little more quickly some of these early slides as far as what is a city charter. It's basically our city constitution. Here is kind of a history of a number of different amendments that have been made. The original was adopted in 1910. The most recent was adopted in 2015. And so why? Why are we doing it? It's really kind of a good practice just to kind of take a look for changes in the law, making sure we're meeting the needs as far as representation, dealing with the complexity that continues to get worse or to get more complex, and making sure we're staying accountable. Is the charter performing the way we want to? And just making sure we're paying attention. And one thing I emphasize, review is not equal change. So the changes recommended came kind of in 4 areas: elections, the roles of elected officials, city manager's role, and then kind of charter maintenance. So the first item was to move the ward boundaries, the actual language of the description of the ward boundaries out of the charter, but also directing the city council to adopt ward boundaries by ordinance and to keep them roughly equal in population. And there's some other language of trying to not, try to make it an more easily understandable boundaries. So here's our existing boundaries with some populations. You can see some of the wards have gotten bigger than the others, and that doesn't give people equal representation. Then another election and candidate related is currently, and we're in this process right now, we have 4 ward councilors all up for election. They have to live in those wards, but the whole city votes for them in the election process. And we had a discussion about that, and the recommendation is that we change that to be where the ward council members are elected by the people who live in those wards, or the voters who live in those wards, rather than as by the city as a whole. Then, as far as some of the elected official roles that are being proposed, first to change to an appointed municipal court judge, whereas currently we elect our municipal court judge. We are only one of 5 cities right now that do that. And so we talked about the challenges, you know, just the limitations that puts on who could be the municipal court judge. Because if you are elected, you have to live within the boundaries of the city. And so then that just limits the number of people who might be qualified. And then the other elected official role is to, right now, when we select a city council president, they go every other year. So kind of right after an election, a new council president is selected. That this would change to every year, potentially giving more people the opportunities to be leader, you know, kind of a leader on the council. Then related to the city manager, this would allow, currently, the way the charter reads, the city manager is required to live in the city limits. This was a little bit of flexibility for allowing up to 12 months for the for the city manager to move into the city limits. And just the other day at the LOC spring conference in Pendleton, there was a session particularly on city charters, and this is an item that a lot of cities are taking a look at, just because the challenges of recruiting and then retaining city managers. And so there's some people who are going away from the requirement, particularly more maybe in metropolitan areas where you might you know, have a bunch of cities that are right next to each other. The next item, right now the council appoints the city attorney, but there's really no language related to how that position is supervised by the council. So this clarifies that the day-to-day supervision of the city attorney would lie with the city manager, the proposed changes. Then for city charter maintenance, this requires a review of the charter at least once every 10 years. It doesn't have to be, I mean, it could be more frequent. You have to wait 10 years, but at least once every 10 years, we take a look at it to make sure it's meeting the needs of the community. And then there are a number of other language changes in there that align the charter with the current language of the League of Oregon Cities model charter. And so that is a summary. Be happy to answer any questions, and I'm sure the committee would be happy to talk about their discussions if you have questions about that as well.
I just, for the purposes of elections coming up, because I know there are some candidates in the audience, I know we've talked about this before, but if the ward lines are redrawn, that would not go into effect for this election, correct?
Correct. Because this, let's say you recommend putting this on the ballot, it would go in November. Likely an effective date would be January 1st, so that'd be after these elections are completed. So any changes to the boundary lines would apply to the next time the ward council members are elected, and it also provides for the changing wouldn't kick them out immediately. It would come into play when
during the next cycle
takes place.
Go ahead.
One is, I really wish they would have addressed the barnyard animals in the city limits. I have had issue for 2 years with barnyard animals. I'm sure the poor code enforcement officer just would like to block my number. I can't help it.
Well, I would propose that should be an ordinance change and not a charter
Okay, well,
change.
however you want to do it.
So maybe in this meeting, when it's council comment time, you could make a motion to consider at a future meeting an ordinance regulating chickens or barnyard animals, if you want to be more.
Basically chickens.
So
I don't have any other wandering barnyard animals, just the chickens that have eaten my landscaping from the front of my office for 2 years.
must have been tasty.
Huh?
Must
Okay.
have tasted really good.
I'm gonna plant something bad.
No, have them for dinner.
Going down a rabbit hole now, guys. Come on, let's get back on task. Okay.
And the other one is, on the wards, distributing the wards
Mhm.
and only allowing the people from that district to vote.
Mhm.
Do we, I know we can't know, but do we have any kind of an idea on the voter, like feedback on how many of the people from that district vote?
We don't I mean, we didn't do that level of analysis. It would take a little effort to try to do that. Um, the biggest concern, and one of the reasons that the staff wanted to do that, I recognize, it could be low voter turnout and there could be very few people who vote for in a specific ward. But the whole idea of the reason you put wards in place is to try to distribute representation and to give those different areas of the city that voice. And doing it the way we currently are doesn't meet that. And cities in other places have been challenged in court for the kind of situation that we have right now. And so this is trying to look ahead and maybe head off some potential lawsuits that could come under that current status.
All right, so long as you've looked into it.
We can look into it. I mean, it would be more, because we would be redrawing the boundaries, then that gets a little more tricky as far as trying to figure out who voted, but we could do some mapping to try to look at that. But we still can't guarantee that the people who are registered to vote are gonna vote, so.
Okay.
They already done. Other council comments or questions? Counselor Litton.
Okay. There are a couple of things that I would like to see the municipal judge continue to be voted in by the citizen, because I think that would help the constituents to have a part in what's happening within Hermiston, because it's hard to get the people to get involved. And so I feel that I would like to see that to continue to be voted in.
Or is there a question in there?
Oh, I thought you said.
We're on questions. No, we're on questions.
Oh, I thought you said
Council questions.
Okay. I can hold off to.
Okay. Counselor Roberts.
I've got a couple of questions. First one's probably one of the easiest. It said every 10 years we would have to have a charter review. Let's say that we get to year 5 and we decide we want to review. Does that reset the clock, or is the 10-year going to be on a set?
That's how I would interpret it. I guess we could leave it up to the city attorney to interpret that, but yeah, I mean, I think it would.
Okay. The second question, or actually set of questions, has to do about term limits, because I've had a couple of people around town ask me about this. Should the city councilors have some kind of term limit where they have to step away for a certain amount of time? Not saying a lifelong, you've done 8 years and you're off of it, but just the way it was posed to me is sometimes people don't run because somebody's been in there for 8, 10, 12 years, and they're like, well, I'm not going to get elected because that person's been in there forever. And so their feeling was if there was an opening there, maybe some other people would run and we get some fresh ideas on the council. Not saying this has to be the way it is, but one of the ideas was if you do 2 consecutive terms, let's say that you're a ward position and you do 2 consecutive terms and you have to step out, you'd be eligible for the at-large positions in 2 years or something like that. So I'm just putting it out there as something for us to kind of consider. And then if yes, we think that's something that needs to be discussed, not necessarily that it will be or won't be, but if it's worthy of discussion, is that something we'd want to send back to the committee? And also, how long do we have before we need to make a decision one way or the other before the deadline to get it on the election ballot?
Yeah, so the the final time we feel comfortable with as far as getting it on the ballot would be the final action taken by the council on August 10th.
August 10th.
But that does require some other steps in there that have waiting times and so forth. So, you know, we would need to be done with any discussion 1st of July, middle of June, so that we have time to make sure we take all the steps.
So I guess my final question related to that, because that's the only things that really popped up, is I would love to hear from you guys on that and ask that maybe if you could give me your thoughts on it.
Counselor Drum.
Well, since we have the members of the Charter Review Committee, I want to know if they had any kind of discussion about this as they met over 6 to 9 months.
Mr. Chairman, would you, are you prepared to step forward and address any of these questions?
Thank you for inviting me, and feels a little bit foreign to be standing on this side of the dais. This is actually
Please state your name and address for the record.
But before you get started, could you give us your name and?
I just assumed everybody knew who I was.
Well, sir, you know, we do have.
We do.
We do
guys
have
missed that
rules.
humor. Come
We do
on.
have rules and, you know, kind of got to follow.
My name is Dave Drotzman. My address 935 Southeast Banker Drive. And I was appointed by you as the chair for the Charter Review Committee. So I'm here to not just speak for the committee can speak for themselves. They're here. Most of them are here present this evening. It was a very diverse group, a very broad group of individuals, brought different perspectives, different areas of the community. They were appointed by you. They applied for this position, and all of the members were public members. We had one representative, the mayor, sat with us, but he didn't get to vote. He had lots of opinions, but he didn't get to vote. And so the committee brought these presentations to you themselves after thoroughly vetting them. It was my timeline, if I'm correct, we actually did 6 meetings, not 4. And we thoroughly went through this, being respectful of the years of institutional development that this council and the previous councils have put into developing a charter. You know, it is the framework in which we operate our city. And as unique as that is to cities and the process of governance across the United States, it allows us to be a separate and unique city. And so we want to be mindful and respectful of that first and foremost. And so in thinking through that, you know, we always wanted to respect what previous counselors had approved or done. And so the changes that we brought forward to you are just our recommendations. They were all fully unanimous, if I remember accurately, in these recommendations. But ultimately, that decision is up to you and how you change it and how you like it, and add stuff to it if you want to. It's your decision ultimately. But this was vetted by your community and supported by your community. We did have public open comment at every single meeting. Not a lot of people took the opportunity. The last meeting was pretty well attended, and there was many members that spoke at that time. And probably the most contentious one was, as Councilor Linton had pointed out, the judge. And so, and it wasn't something that we took lightly either. We understand the challenges that, you know, attorneys finding professional to come to rural parts of the state is very, very difficult. We even had the attorney, Mr. Ben Dixon, was here one evening. I think he's here this evening. He could probably speak to that if he would like to. And so we were able to ask him questions about it as well. And so we tried to do a deep enough dive in that conversation to formulate an opinion, taking the recommendations of the administration, how difficult it is to find professionals to fill that position. We felt it was best if we brought it in-house in an appointed position rather than an elected position. And also the oversight of the person that works closest in the administration, the city manager, to have the oversight of that position as well. So I don't know that I got to the question that you were asking me. What were you asking me about? Term limits. I don't think we ever talked about term limits.
If it did, it was brief.
Yeah,
I
don't think it ever
was
came up.
never brought up at all.
yeah. Was it committee? Yeah, we never talked about it. So might be a conversation for the council. I have my own personal opinions, but I think, that's something the council wants to decide. I don't think we have an opinion. We didn't formulate one. I don't know if I could speak for the committee as well, if we would come back together, but we've presented you our best effort. And I think it's a great recommendation. And one of the things that we talked about, to Councilor Linton's point, is you could run simultaneous ballot issues. And so you could pull out, the judge as an election versus, all for one for all kind of approval. So that way you don't sink everything that you want to do with one issue. So that would be one way to frame it. But I would be happy to answer any other questions.
Other council questions? Councilor Linton?
Can I comment the committee first, or do I have to? Because I want to comment.
Okay,
Whoops.
this is just questions.
Okay, I'll comment you all later then. I
Did
do have a question
did the
for
committee
you.
have any other thoughts or? No, we enjoyed the process. Appreciated you inviting us to come in and give you a recommendation. It was an honor to help support the city again. And so thank you for the request. And
I do have one question.
yeah, shoot.
I want to know your opinion on the municipal judge being voted in or appointed. And if they're appointed, do you think that the council should also be the ones that take part in the appointment?
Yeah. My personal opinion, I supported the appointment. And so, but I will tell you, that was the one thing that people spoke to the most during public presentation, gave feedback the most on. Some in support, some, it's challenging, as you guys all know. You do the deep dive, you do the 6 weeks worth of work, you do all the homework behind the scenes, and then a person comes to one meeting and hears your thoughts and wants to speak to it. And so it's ultimately up to you and what you want to decide. I found it challenging as the mayor when we had to have a municipal court that was operational and to the benefit of the community in a previous environment. And so I supported the appointment from that perspective in my previous experience, but I also defer to the city administrator, who has to manage that department and understand the challenges that he's presented with. And I also, in my capacity as a professional business person in the community, understand how difficult it is to hire professionals to come to rural parts of the state. And so we were fortunate enough to get an amazing attorney to step forward here locally and fill that position. I'm sure he's got lots of other things on his list of stuff to do that would keep him busy besides this, but finding another individual, if he wasn't available, I think would be extremely challenging for the council.
And Mr. Mayor, can I clarify real quick?
Yes, sir.
Part of what Councilor Lynn's talking about. So the proposal is, it says a majority of the council may appoint and remove a municipal judge in consultation with the city manager. So that's the proposal, is that the council and the city manager together would come together and make that appointment.
We did have that conversation in
Yes.
as part of our recommendation, that the council would still maintain that authority to stay involved in the process.
I would also like to ask Mr. Benediction a question. If he doesn't want.
Do you guys have any more for me?
Nope.
No.
We're good. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor.
Good evening, Cameron Bendixson. I live in city limits. It's good to be here.
We'll give you a pass on that one.
Thank you.
Well, my question is your opinion on being appointed or someone being voted in
Yeah,
to this
thank you.
position.
When I ran for this position, I've been the judge, I was a pro tem in 2021 and then ran for election, took that on in January 2023. So I've been the judge that long. Hasn't been a real long time. It's gone by quickly for me. I really hadn't thought about it a whole lot as long as I've been the judge, until the charter committee approached me and asked me to speak at their meeting, which I appreciate, and I appreciate all their good work. I know that you and those on the committee do this just time that away from families, and it's meaningful stuff. So thank you. I'm also grateful that Dr. Drossman gave me a little bit of a pass there. I was feeling like it was like bottom of the barrel. We don't have any attorneys, and we just got this one guy who's willing to do it. I want to say that I'm very grateful to be the municipal judge, and I really enjoy it. And so I hope you'll have me as long as I can do the job. So that being said, I think that there are benefits. The common lawyer answer is always what? It depends, right? The common lawyer answer is always it depends. So if you have an elected judge, then the whole city gets to decide the guy they want to sit right there a few times a week and make decisions about people's guilt or innocence, right? And so some might think that a judge would be worried about what the public would think when certain decisions are made. I don't even know that crosses my mind when I'm sitting up there. I'm taking the facts as they come and make a decision based on what I understand of the law, and so I make the decision. I don't think that ever crosses my mind. Well, what do the members of the community think about this decision? That shouldn't cross a judge's mind, right? So there's that issue that the public may feel that is something that would sway a judge. So that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is if it's appointed, then does the city council or the city manager or anyone else, do they have any sway with the judge in what the judge decides? You know, are there meetings going on behind the scenes of what the city leadership wants the judge to do or decide on certain things? And of course, that wouldn't be appropriate either. So I guess what I'm getting at is I don't really have a position. I think whatever the city council decides is fine with me. I think there are benefits to both. I know that we are a community that, like City Manager Smith said, that we are one of 5, I think, in the whole. I was looking at the chart as I was sitting back there in the audience that, yeah, I think there's maybe 5 or 6 in the whole state that still elect their municipal judge. So I don't know that that's a reason necessarily to make the change. Just because a few communities do it doesn't mean that we should necessarily just jump on board with what everybody else is doing. But it seems to me that what the big driving factor behind all of this is that we are in an interesting time when it comes to the legal community in Hermiston. Just from my own experience as an attorney here, I'm only able to take a fraction of the work that comes to my office. I don't really want to work crazy hours. And so I know I see this issue we're dealing with where it's really hard to find attorneys that want to set up shop here and stay here. And so I think there is some wisdom in looking at this and saying, okay, are we going to expand the boundaries of what an eligible elected judge, where they could live, maybe? Or do we just make it an appointed position and then just leave it up to the council and city leadership to appoint that judge no matter where they live? You certainly open up the pool a little bit more there. So I guess that's a really long answer to your question, but.
Well, I have been to your courtroom a couple of times and over the years, and I think that you are doing an excellent job, and you also have a reputation to being a very good lawyer. So my question is my opinion correct?
Say.
Well, I have to make a question. I just can't comment. It's not comment section.
I'm not sure I don't even know how to answer that. But I'll just say thank you. Yeah.
Good lawyer question. Other council questions of our judge? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, any other council questions in regards to the charter? Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask the city manager what would happen in the scenario where we had an election for a municipal judge and nobody ran.
Then the council would appoint someone to fill that position.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Meyer.
From what pool?
I would say it would be the same pool that the judge could be elected from. So You're still talking about the same limited number of potential candidates. I mean, and that really, at the bottom of staff's discussion and our recommendation to the committee, that is really the crux of it.
My point.
Yeah, we have such a limited, if Judge Dixon didn't want to run for reelection, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's probably 3 other attorneys that live in town. Maybe. I don't know that 100%, but it's pretty close.
Council, other questions? Councilman?
I just don't want to forget, Councilor Roberts had entered into discussion. I wanted to see if there were councilors or whatever on opinions regarding term limits. May I make a comment in regards to that? Or do you want it, are we appropriate?
We'll wait till we get to the comments.
Okay.
So, discussion on the term limits part of it? I guess since it is discussion, go ahead.
Okay. Just in my experience, and it's really, and I just say this only as my opinion being a candidate that's been in a few elections now, I don't know that we have the candidate pool to want to impose a term limit. I know in the past, I think for Councilor Myers' last election, she had put in her, correct me if I'm wrong, put in her application literally the very last moment.
One tell, yeah.
Because there were no candidates that were running, and Councilor Myers has been running for some significant time, so that didn't seem to be a roadblock for anybody to run at that point. So I would hesitate to impose a term limit, because we may run into a situation like, for example, with the judge, where we may have to appoint someone from a similar pool. I see some issues with imposing term limits right now.
Okay. Councilor Kelso?
I would second what Councilor McCarthy just said, but I would also be interested, I'm not completely against the idea. I would also be interested in seeing what other cities our size do. Are there any others that have term limits for city councilors? And that would take some research, obviously, but I think it's worth looking at.
And we did some research just in general reviewing, and Mr. Tubby just said, I mean, he could think of one that's kind of in a similar size that might have had term limits. So we could be more specific and more thorough if you wanted us to, but that's what we currently found.
Okay. Councilor Roberts? Sure. Oh.
I really don't see a problem with term limits. I think that what could happen with it, for me, it'd be like 1 term and then see if anybody else wanted to run. And what I would say is that if we had term limits, and we would also, and say no one decided to run for that council position, Ward 1 through 4, or the alternates, that the person that had that position, that they would be appointed back. And then the next time, see if it'll work the next time. If not, then you have the same person in that ward.
Well, there is one part that I'm going to use council or mayor privilege here. One of the things that was brought up during the recent LOC conference by Patty Mulvihill was the fact that one of the problems that they're seeing is, as a deal, is the rules on basically quorum. Because, what constitute a quorum, and because in the event of a major decision, a major problem that happens within the council, and say you have 4 members of your council step down. So who's going to appoint that? What creates, if your rules in your charter do not include something about, what actually constitutes a quorum for that purpose, then that's something that may need to be addressed at either this or, future charters, because, the You know, I mean, I don't see, I don't see any huge issue where, everybody's gonna step down at once, but, that, uh, as soon as you fail to prepare. So, so that, in regards to term limits, that, if you had, all four of your, all four of your wards or all four of your, uh, at large, are, aren't elected or, don't sign up and you don't have anybody that runs for them, who makes the decision and how is that, how is that decision going to be made? Is it going to be made by the remaining members of the council? So, we need to, at this point, at some point in time, we need to address that part of it. So,
Well, perhaps this is a perfect time to think about those scenarios and try to incorporate it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we could, take in that worst case scenario, you had people who stepped down and there wasn't enough for a quorum. We could probably address that in our charter now. But also, let's take Counselor Meyer's position as the example. Nobody ran, and so she ran last minute. If you reach the end of the term and nobody runs, could we write in a provision that if nobody runs, this person could get reappointed if they're still willing, kind of thing?
You could. I think that gets a little slippery.
Yeah.
Trying to say you're going to automatically put in the person who didn't run. I think
I'm not saying automatic, I'm sorry, but they could be a
you could put in
candidate
that
to
the council
reappoint.
could appoint. to
Yeah.
fill. I mean, I think that's already in place.
Seems like they would run again.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to be, they would have run again.
I feel like there's some challenges with.
But yeah,
if I remember right, though, didn't the didn't this last legislative session change the the period in which you can, like an incumbent has to file a week before the end of the,
it's more than a week, but yes, the
Yeah.
incumbents have to file sooner. They're required to file sooner than a new candidate would be required to file.
But we're talking about something different. We're talking about, we don't have a candidate, and so it goes unfilled.
Right, but it also addresses the concerns that
Right.
you brought up in that if somebody's afraid to run against a longtime incumbent, if they don't file by the earlier deadline, they can know, then they can go file within, still file within the normal period.
because I think that was part of the impetus for that law or that change is because of that particular situation, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember everything.
So my final comment on that is this something that we want to have further discussion on, I guess, before we make a decision? And that, to me, is just what we think as a council, the majority, I'm good with.
Councilor Jerome?
Is it something that we can table perhaps for our next meeting? I think I want to think about it a little bit more. I see a lot of benefit in having someone like Mr. Harden or Ms. Myers with all the institutional knowledge that they brought, because they've been part of the city council, where they can give us the background on how decisions were made way back when a subject comes up. And not only that, not only with the institutional knowledge, but at the same time, these are people that have the time, go to conferences, are actively participating in the council, still wanting to learn. They're not just a body that comes, to a meeting, but they actually are actively participating. So they're not occupying space, but they're engaging, they're fulfilling their roles. So I don't know that I'm quite prepared to make a decision right now about the term limits.
Okay. So as for term limits, are we at a conclusion of the discussion of the term limits part of things and maybe look at moving that as something that to have the staff look at further?
I'm okay with that, yeah. I don't know what that does to this issue tonight if we.
Well,
have to
it would definitely mean we'd have to put it off tonight.
Yeah.
But there are other items that we can discuss in regards to it.
Yeah.
Because tonight is we would direct staff to prepare the necessary documents to place this on, and as we don't have a basically stock and trade position or language for them to move forward with. We've not made a decision as to that, so.
Well, even the term limits wouldn't affect any of the recommendations that are.
But the charter as a whole would.
Right. We wouldn't want you to make, I mean, there are certain things that we have to prepare for you to say, yeah, we're going to put that on the ballot. We don't want to do that until we know what's going to go on the ballot. So if there's a chance you're going to add another item, let's wait. We still have time, but that's.
So are we directing staff to come up with, to further look into the matter? Or what are we doing on term limits part of things?
I think if we're at that point, that would be the motion, but I'm not making it yet because I don't want to cut
Right.
anybody off.
Okay, so, all right, but we've discussed it. Is there any more discussion on the matter of term limits?
I have a question for the city manager.
Okay.
So, Mr. Smith, does that mean that our question or our idea will go back to the committee, the Charter Review Committee, or does it go to you guys for language proposals?
Well, I would not want to necessarily impose on the committee. When we told them, I mean, they did what we asked. And so I would say if you wanted to table the discussion on the charter and direct us to bring more information about term limits, I think that would be more of what we're talking about. And then you decide what you're going to do with term limits.
All right, so there are other parts of the charter that we can discuss as well.
Yeah, if
because,
there's any concern about other
Parts
things,
of it.
but
Councilor Kelso.
City Manager Smith, how long would you say we have to deliberate this before you need an answer?
so end of June, 1st of July, we need to be done.
Okay. Other questions in regards to any other parts of the charter? Okay, seeing none.
I thought we was going to be able to go back and do some comments.
We're on question. Then
went
we'll
back.
get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let the record reflect that Councilor Barone is with us now. Okay, so at this time, do we have any public comment in regards to what we've done with the charter on the charter as presented so far? None of you guys? Okay. All right, council comments. Councilor Litton, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, I have wanted to discuss the two items. The first item would be to leave the voting of the municipal judge to the citizens of Hermiston. I think that helps them to participate in the government because we have a hard time getting people to participate. And usually folks don't come to the meetings unless it's something that's directly affecting them. And most of the time, it's like maybe 1 to 3 people in the audience. And so I'm hoping that it would continue to help individuals take a part in and find out who's who and want to know who is who.
Okay,
Oh, you want me to do the second one as well?
yeah,
Okay.
this is council comments.
Okay, my second one is for the council president. I would like to see it stay as it is now for every other year.
Okay,
That's my two.
all right. Other council comments? Councilor Meyer. I'll get there.
I would like to disagree with what Jackie just said about voting to elect the judge. I think it's a far better idea. We get a better quality candidate if we appoint.
Okay,
Okay.
Councilor Roberts?
First, thank you to the committee members. You guys did a fine job. I was at that last meeting. I think you brought forth a very well thought out, document for us and changes. Like I said, that term limit thing was after the fact. You guys had already adjourned. But everything that you've brought forward, I like. I appreciate Councilor Linton's thoughts on the election process, bringing people in and wanting to engage. And I get that sentiment. But at the same time, we've just had a conversation under the term limits about how hard it is to get candidates sometimes. And so if we can't get enough candidates for the city council positions, which is open to the whole city, we're going to be a lot more, have a lot harder time finding candidates, I think, to run for the municipal judge. For that reason, I'm in favor of the appointment, but I do appreciate both sides of that.
Other Council Barone?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for welcoming me back. I had the opportunity to listen to your guys' conversation on the bus ride back from Tri-Cities from our baseball game. And so I just wanted to say that I appreciate the committee that did all the work. I understood that we had 6 meetings. And so I appreciate the work that every single member of the committee did. You guys had a long opportunity to have these long conversations, and I really respect a committee putting in a lot of work and bringing it forth to the council. And so I respect the work that you guys have done. I quite frankly am in favor with the committee recommendations. I believe they spent an adequate amount of time, looked it over, had open public meetings in which people could comment on. Frankly, I wish even the county would have gone with their charter review committee recommendations. Because I think the work that the people do on this committee is very valuable. And so I understand what was mentioned about whether it's appointed or elected. I hear both sides, and I really appreciate Judge Ben Dixon kind of going over the pros and cons. There is a lot to think about, honestly. But at the end of the day, whether it's the public feeling that they have maybe some buy-in with the judge, or whether it's even the council, I think there is a slippery slope from both ways. But understanding the legal crisis that we have, where we just honestly don't have very many attorneys in the area. We have some high-quality attorneys in the area, but we just don't have very many. And so I think that poses difficulty, especially when we're trying to get through cases. We don't want cases or justice to be hung up because we're lacking an attorney when we need one, or a judge when we need one. And so, frankly, I agree with the recommendations. And I want to say again, thank you, committee members who took the time to look over the charter review. You have a lot of experience, and many of you guys, like, I was really happy to see that the mayor was a part of that committee. You have a lot of years that you dedicated to the city. You have a lot of institutional knowledge about what's happened, where we've been, and where we're going. And so I really respect you leading the committee, former Mayor Dave Drotzman. So I appreciate you. I appreciate the work that the committee has done. So thank you.
Councilor Drone hasn't gone yet.
Yes, I also want to thank the committee for the work. I attended the very last meeting, and I think we've talked about the low voter turnout, right? And so I think having the opportunity for the city council to be able to appoint the judge is a better option. The council are elected officials. The community members have put the trust in the city manager, the city council, the mayor, to be able to carry out those decisions. So I think that's a better option. As far as the term limits, I don't know if you were able to hear Councilor Barron, but we were having a discussion about that, and we decided to think about it a little bit more. The city is going to be bringing back some information, but we do have to make a decision on the the city charter before July. But those are my comments.
I gotta wait till, give everybody a chance first. Council Kelso.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. In an ideal world, I would agree with Councilor Linton if, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, if we had many more lawyers in town and.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry, sir. And there was a slate of candidates to choose from. I am all in favor of the most fundamental level of democracy possible, and we would have one person, one vote, and we would elect that person. But I'm a bit of a pragmatist, and I've seen a recurring theme throughout my time here on council, and that is that there is a shortage of attorneys, people who are qualified to be a judge, and especially those people who live in our city limits. And we saw that when the DA came and presented, when we were talking about, you know, giving the misdemeanor cases back to the county. And he was just saying he can't find enough lawyers to hire even countywide. So I think we need to do what we can to make hiring a city municipal judge as easy as possible on the city management. And as Councilor Jerome said, we are elected and we will be appointing that judge. So in a way, the people will have representation in that decision. And I wanted to echo everybody else's sentiments. I attended a couple of your meetings, committee, and I think you did a fantastic job, and I appreciate your time and effort that you put into it. So thank you for that.
Any other council comments that hasn't talked yet? You already talked. Councilor Linton was ahead of you, so.
I also want to thank the committee. I think you did an outstanding job on putting this together. My concern, however, is with the council, not us individually, but I have seen it where politics came into play, and I don't want to see a lawyer have to come up and think they have to, you know, talk to each and everybody and get favoritism. I've seen that happen. And that's why I feel that we should let the people decide whoever's running. Then the people can decide. They can look at what the candidate is saying about himself. They can look at his record or whatever. But I'm not saying that that will happen to where you got to play politics and, you know, buy me dinner. I like prime rib, just in case anybody wants to know. But anyway, that is my opinion on that. Thank you.
Council Brown.
I agree with Councilor Kelso on what he mentioned about the judgeship. Just kind of what I was mentioning earlier. I think that's the better idea. And unfortunately, if we had more competition or more people that are willing to go out for that, or if we had an abundance of lawyers, that'd be great. But we just don't. And just a comment on Councilor Duran's point. I did hear you guys have a conversation about term limits, and I mean, personally, I don't think it's a great idea, just because we all know, being counselors, the first 4 years, you're basically learning. And that's not to say that we can't introduce new ideas. We have people that can get involved in committees or run at large, where it's just the top 4 that win. And so, honestly, there's opportunity. And I mean, I'd be in favor of maybe a certain limit of term limits, but I think it's also valuable to bring a lot of institutional knowledge, especially a nonpartisan position. At the end of the day, everyone that's running for the council, is just wanting to see the best for the city. And personally, I think the best for the city is being very informed and making informed decisions. And so I think experience goes a long way. I've had a lot of respect for the counselors that have been here for a while, Counselor Myers, Counselor Harden, Counselor Primer when he was a counselor, the mayor for 12 years. You can tell when you have someone in leadership for a while, that experience does carry a lot of weight. Just like with anything, if you have a seasoned teacher or a seasoned coach, the first few years are you're just learning. And then after a while, then that's when you start to get in your group. You can start to do more things than you possibly could have envisioned the first couple of years. Now, I think it's really important, and to Counselor Roberts' points, when I heard you mentioned the idea, I think it's great that we have more ideas presented to the council. I feel like the city is trying to do its best to communicate more. We have had more opportunities to do more public comment, or to even have our city chats, just try to go out and meet the community. And it was great. I'm sure a lot of you guys were here for our last candidates forum, but every single race was contested. So I think that's fantastic. at the end of the day, I think it's the experience of a counselor or any individual is invaluable. So I disagree with a term limit. We can maybe do maybe 4 or something like that, or I'm just not really in favor unless there was just a lot of people that wanted to run. And at the end of the day, a race is a race. The best man or best woman's going to win. So that's how I feel about that.
Just want to borrow on some election experiences. When you look at the last ward elections, most, and even in previous years, most positions were only within contest by less than 100 votes or about 100 votes or so, which is not really indicating, well, and for example, Councilor Linton was not the incumbent, Councilor Barone was, and there was a small amount of votes that could have swung either way if more people showed up. So I don't think it's also indicative of the incumbent gets it because they've been doing it for so long. Certainly Councilor Davis would have had favor in that position with Councilor Linton, and there wasn't a huge number of votes, but enough to separate Councilor Linton into getting that position. So I don't think based on that there's an inability of a person to be able to run. Certainly that hasn't been, in my experience, the pattern, and I've attended, even before I was running, a number of these forums and paid attention to that with my experience being in a media outlet. So I don't think even our voting pattern indicates that it's not possible for a complete newcomer to a position to win that position.
Any others? My turn. All right, cool. So, in regards to the term limits part of it, things, and I appreciate Council Roberts' position on this, but at the same time, to go towards, actually to use, I think it was Councilor Kelso's or Councilor Barone's, deal, season. You know, a new counselor on this, you know, I started out as new, you know, everybody up here was new at one point in time or another. And when I ran the first time, I came in with an agenda, unfortunately. And so, you know, and when I got in here, I found out exactly how much my agenda really had to do with what was going to go on. So it wasn't, you know, it wasn't wasn't that thing. You know, you get in here and you don't realize just how much you don't know about, you know, I mean, everybody's supposed to have gone through civics classes in school. You should know how government runs, but until you sit up here and are part of some of those decisions, and even if you're sitting out there in the audience, you don't see how much or how little you have to, you know, you have of what's going to happen. So, you know, you can't just come up here and, well, I'm going to change this. And getting to the point to where you understand how to, you know, how the thing actually, how this thing we call government works is difficult at best. And so I think, you know, to do away with that quote unquote seasoning, the seasoned professionals that we get up here would be a shame, quite frankly. You know, Councilor Meyer has put a lot of work into it. You know, I had some bad things to say about her at one point in time, and
You did.
and you know, and I
Was proven wrong.
and I was wrong. But at the same time, you know, I got to see exactly how this works and how tough it is to sit up here and make some of these decisions. You know, knowing about how a budget works. You know, everybody has a budget at their house, but budget at your house doesn't work like a budget in the city. You can't just take from this pile and put it there. It has to be a certain way. And getting up here and being part of that seasoning is what gets you to that point. And so to learn from that is necessary, I think. I made notes here. Make sure I cover that. And I would, you know, if we did do term limits, I would have to say that, you know, the absolute wouldn't even start before three terms. But, you know, I can understand the thought process behind it. as, you know, again, going back to when I first got on the council, I was one of those that was dead set against the taking away the people's choice for the judge. I fought, you know, that was a hill I stood upon and planted my flag. And I'm telling you right now that I have changed my opinion on that. And mostly is because of the current climate that it takes to, you know, we had to give up our, you know, a portion of our court because we can't get attorneys to come in here and do that. We can't even import them by phone to get them to do the job that we need them to do. To ask somebody to actually live inside the city and be a judge that has an attorney experience is, I mean, the fact that we have Judge Ben Dixon in the position that we do is a blessing, to say the least. And he does a fine job, and I am happy every single day that he is in there doing the job that he is. I try not to mess his chair up too much. So, but in any case, the thing is that, you know, we, to take that, to take the fact that what folks have been saying up here is that, you know, we are elected officials. You know, the people tell us what they want. And it's our job to interpret and or make a decision based on what they have told us that their mandate is. And I would say that it is, you know, it is within our purview to do that. And the fact that, I mean, because everybody's doing it, we should too. That's, you know, for me, that's not the biggest issue part of things. You know, because, I mean, how many of us have sold that to our kids, right?
I would say not everybody's doing it.
Right. But in any case, that's to me, that's not the issue. The issue is what do we do if, you know, what do we do if, you know, our current judge becomes disenfranchised with our city and decides that, no, thank you. How do we replace him in the future? So I think that by doing that, I think by making it our decision and answering to the public is the best option possible. That's, again, that's the way I look at it. And finally, in regards to, and I brought my opinion on this one forward, and I will bring it forward again, in regards to the council president's role. Yes, I understand the thought process by giving additional people, you know, people additional experience, but just as we've said multiple times up here, when you first get into the role up here, you're just barely getting your feet under you in the first couple of years. And I think the same would go for the council president, because once the council president gets put into place, you know, at any given time, he could be sitting in this chair having to do the things that I do. And it's not, you know, it's not rocket surgery, but again, it's not, you know, there are some things that require a little bit of tact and maybe a little bit of fortitude. I don't know. But being, you know, but to be the person that has to make the decision from this chair in a possibly contentious meeting might make the difference. It might be somebody that that has a little bit more experience, that's had to run the meeting before, that knows the ins and outs is what they're supposed to do. And I don't think that just one and done is the way. Now, granted, the same person could be voted back in, you know, every year. It could happen. However, I think that the decision to move it back from 2 or back to 2 would be, or keep it at 2 would be the better thing. And finally, I was there at I think every meeting that they had, and the work that the folks on the Charter Review Committee was fantastic. Everybody was involved in the discussion. There was nobody just sitting on their thumbs the entire time. They were involved in it. They were discussing it. They took their responsibility to heart, and they made the best effort, and they did produce the best product that they possibly could, given what we gave them. They took what we asked them to do and made it their own, and brought forth what we believe is a very, very good piece, a good document. And the fact that we're discussing it, I mean, you know, the fact that we're only discussing 2 or 3 things over all the changes and everything that was made says a lot for what was done in that group. And so with that, I'm done. So, where do we go from here? Do we, Mr. Tuvey, are we at a point to where we've made a decision to table this and send it back for additional review, or do I need to make a vote as to the change that we've,
Well, I leave that to the council. There's a couple different topics that have been discussed that if somebody wanted to raise a motion to and move forward, or the discussion was to table, and if it was table and give us some guidance as far as what the council would like to see for the next meeting.
would it be maybe a better thing? I mean, just my thought here is if we were to, I mean, I know we've got a work session set for the next group, but maybe we could preempt that and have the next council meeting have a work session in regards to these items so that we would be able to discuss them a little bit more and provide staff with our recommendations for change.
I think we have enough time that we could go to the next meeting. I'd prefer, I've already scheduled those other 2 presenters. I'd prefer to not, you know, I don't know what their calendars look like. I'd prefer to keep them on that and that we put it on the next work session. But other than that, I'm fine with that approach.
Mr. Mayor, what are the recommendations, I guess?
Well, that's where the problem is.
Okay.
So we really don't have a clear recommendation at this point in time that I'm understanding. Councilor Roberts?
Correct me if I'm wrong. The main issues we have are the term limits, the municipal judge, and the council president's 1 versus 2 year. I don't know if what's that?
Seems fair.
Yeah, and so I don't know if we have enough consensus to deal with any or all of those tonight, or if we would do that at a work session. I don't know what would be best.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, I don't think this would be too long of a discussion to have in a meeting. I don't know that we necessarily have to have a work session, but we can.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you want a motion to table and bring back more information on those 3 subjects for further discussion, I think that would be a great direction from our standpoint.
Councilor Linton?
With the 3 items, can we just go through a vote to see if we want it to go further discussion? And then each item, we can say whether or not we want to pass that tonight?
Yes, that's what I was saying. I mean, if, at this
Okay.
point, if you feel like a motion could be carried or heard, and then you could vote on that, see where you're at
Okay.
as far as making those
All right.
moves.
So, Councilor John, did you have?
That was going to be my suggestion.
Okay. All right. So, the 3 items were term limits, the judge, and council president. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who wants to take on term limits? Councilor Roberts.
Mr. Mayor, I would move that we direct staff to bring back more information on term limits and to be considered at a future meeting.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Yes.
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 No.
Okay. And we have 6-1 with Councilor Brown being in dissent to bring it back at another meeting. All right, Judge wants to take. Judge.
I would motion that we go with the suggestion from the Charter Committee and let the council be the one to appoint the municipal judge.
Second.
Just because
I've done it
sound
enough.
closes faster, so you're first. So, okay, so motion by Councilor Drone, seconded by pretty much everybody else, almost everybody else. But we'll go with Councilor McCarthy. to keep the charter, or the charter recommendation as presented? Roll call.
Yes.
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 No.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, council passes 6-1 with Counselor Linton in dissent. Okay, council president.
I would like to make a motion that we keep the committee's recommendation.
Second.
Okay, can keep the committee's recommendation as 1 term limit. Roll call.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
Was this 1 term limit or 2?
One year limit.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I think, is that a tie?
No, there's 3 no's or 4.
Do we need to do it again?
I want to make sure I understand this one correctly.
Oh, no, because Roy's here.
Okay, so
Yeah.
three yeses, or 3 no's and 4 yeses? Okay, so it moves, so motion passes to stay at 1, 4-3 with
Keeping the charter's
keeping the
recommendation.
charter recommendation. All right, cool. All right. All right, sir, you got 1. Okay, so do we need to do a motion to table and bring back okay, so can I get a motion to table this and bring it back with more information on term limits?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Counselor Drawn, second by Counselor McCarthy. Sorry, he was closer.
I'm good with it.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes. Wow.
Okay.
Spirited discussion. Thank you, council. The council thanks the Charter Review Committee. I appreciate you guys hanging out for all of this, and I'm glad we moved it forward because this would have been a long one, huh?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Moving on, finally. Ordinances and resolution 2420, approve intergovernmental agreement for IT services with the West Extension Irrigation District. City Manager Smith.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, West Extension Irrigation District approached us, our IT department, about providing some services for them. They are asking for I think it's a 4-hour per month. 4 hours a month. So it's not a lot, $6,200 a year. The agreement includes a 3% inflation area increase each year. And initially, they do want to start immediately or as quickly as this becomes effective, so that there will be a partial payment this fiscal year of $1,040. And since I anticipate the question, yes, we can handle this
was
this
coming.
small contract with our current staffing. We don't need to fill. We still are authorized a position that we have not filled, and we will be bringing some amendments to the council with some of our existing customers that will make even a little bit more time available to handle this small contract.
Okay. Council questions? Counselor
Sorry,
Kelso.
what's the position you're looking to fill?
Oh, we requested an extra position last year, but we didn't need to fill it. It would be just a tech type
Okay.
position.
Thank you.
Any others? Public comment? Nope. Okay. Council comments? Seeing none, can I get a motion to approve or adopt resolution 2420 and lay upon the record?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Councilor Drawn on the motion and second by Councilor Roberts. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. All right, resolution 2421, approve intergovernmental agreement to operate the practical assistance through transitional housing path program. City Manager Smith.
And Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is an update. What's before you is an updated agreement from what we have been operating under. And it really kind of continues and formalizes some of the budgetary needs of the PATH program. And what it is requesting is it because we've been operating now for a few years, we have now some numbers to help us know what it costs to provide these services at the level we are. So that puts those numbers in for this fiscal year and the next two. And it also provides percentage shares for the various partners, and it also formalizes the joining of this agreement of both the cities of Irrigan and Boardman to be a part of it and share in the cost. And so what this would do is it would formalize our requirement to pay $49,991.36 for this fiscal year. And then our ongoing commitment will be based on kind of a not to exceed number that's in the budget or in the agreement, minus the state funding that we receive each year. And the reason we don't plug that in is because the state doesn't tell us very often, very early, what their commitment's going to be. So be happy to answer any questions.
Council questions? Councilor Broom.
You mentioned Irrigan, City Manager Smith, you mentioned Irrigan and Boardman. Are they joining in for the first time, or have they always been a part?
No, they have been, they did do agreements, kind of short-term agreements with the city of Umatilla directly.
Oh,
This
okay.
will be the first time that we all kind of sign the same IGA.
Okay. Yeah, because when I remember, it was just us and Umatilla for a while. Was that right? Or
It was us, us, Umatilla, Echo and Stanfield have always also been a partner, and then Umatilla County.
Okay. Thank you.
Other council question? Councilor Linton?
I would like to know how much is contributed from Hermiston, excuse me, at this time.
So our requirement for this fiscal year will be just under $50,000. So $49,991. We don't know yet what our commitment will be next year. When I bring the budget before you guys, we will budget some money, kind of anticipating what our commitment will be, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Other council questions? Councilor Jerome?
So why Umatilla County and not Pendleton, the city of Pendleton?
A couple of different reasons. One, when we started this effort, the city of Pendleton had already kind of gone a different direction in conjunction with Capco. And is it called the Promise Inn? Is that what it's called?
Something like
That's
that.
what yeah. They are, that's kind of their shelter program for that side of the county. And then I think just that whole idea that, I mean, we're just enough geographically separated that it makes sense for us to partner with the cities that are here close to us. And so that's, and I don't know Umatilla County's relationship with the city of Pendleton. I'm not aware of that, but they were a willing partner in what we were working on here. So.
Thank you.
Other council questions? Seeing none? Public comment? No? You sure? Okay. All right, council comments? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adopt resolution 2421 and lay upon the record?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor McCarthy, second by Councilor Roberts. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. All right. March 2026 monthly financial report. Mr. Smith.
Yeah, Mr. Palacios.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and councilors. For you tonight, I have the monthly financial reports ending at March 31, 2026. Hermiston Urban Renewal Agency we are currently 75% of the way through the fiscal year, and the receipts for the Hermiston property taxes for the Hermiston Urban Renewal Agency are at a little over 100%. I've talked about this, why that is, and that's because of the way the taxes are levied in those agencies. We are working through the right-of-way appraisals. Well, actually, those are completed with anticipated bidding this spring. So, we're in spring.
Of it. Now it'll be next spring.
Oh, well, so I wasn't wrong. It's still in the spring. General fund, again, we're 7 months of the way through the fiscal year. Monthly revenues ended projections by about 1.9 million over projections. This is primarily due to the receipt of property taxes and franchise fees. As previously reported, we have received 100% of our budgeted property taxes. I did want to mention just briefly that we had a we had a revenue misclassification, so there was a correction in the financial statements. So that's why if you read the financial reports that I had, you saw that we had a negative revenue, and that's because of there was an error that there's transfers that we make on a monthly basis to other funds, and because of the timing of that, it was misclassified in the general fund, but overall the general fund is still about $1 million to the good. So I'm happy to answer any questions about that towards the end or even now. So monthly expenses were under projection by about $237,000. When compared to the projected expenses, the city council, don't read the finance department there, please. Public Safety Center and the non-departmental departments were selected for further evaluations. Of those, city council and non-department are over budget, and this is due to the annual LIC membership. City council, that'll catch up by the end of the fiscal year is what I anticipate, so you'll probably get bored of hearing this, but I'll be reporting on it through the end of the fiscal year. And then, of course, the transfer that we made to set up the building inspection fund for this current year. Public Safety Center is over budget. This is due to single-time purchases for the PD building renovation, and that will be addressed in a final supplemental here before the end of the year. Observations and special revenue funds, EOTech, revenues reflect the partial reimbursement from campground project. We are looking at asking for another one here pretty soon. We're due for another one, and the RV project is underway. Again, the regional water fund is up here again, just to let you know that due to some timing of some maintenance work, part of the operations were shut down, and so there were about $154,000 under projected revenues, but Mark is still really hopeful that we'll get to that before the end of the year because of the changing weather. Yeah, he just grabbed me by the arm and said, and then some of the offset will come from the ASR project that's underway. With that, I will turn it over to Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, sorry, just on that last piece with the regional water system, as I was whispering into Mr. Palacios here, we will catch up because the city's buying a whole bunch of water from the regional system and pouring it into the ground, and we're getting reimbursed for that. So that's really why we're going to be catching up here very quickly in the next couple of months. So capital projects, the Gear and Harper project, you're aware we awarded a contract on that. So get ready for your phone to start ringing when we close that intersection. So it's coming. North First Place project, continuing to try and work through things with the railroad, regional water system backup generators. Now we're just at the point where we're waiting on those to be delivered, which is going to be a long lead time item. The Orchard Avenue water line replacement project, that's going to be very disruptive. We anticipate bringing that to you at the next council meeting to award that contract. So that one's moving along. The well number 6 chlorination structure, we're having pre-construction meetings here, so soon we'll be starting to construct that project this spring. Dogwood and really 2nd Street, those two projects are combined. That's the local improvement district with Northwest 2nd Street. We also anticipate bringing that to the council at your next meeting for award of both of those construction projects. So those will be going out here this summer for actual construction. Southeast 10th Street Bridge continues to move along. They finished some geotech work here recently, so we're still moving toward closure and construction during the winter, this upcoming winter. The Evelyn Avenue sewer line project, on track to begin that work approximately July 1st. And then the ASR project is continuing to move along well. And then those other projects, they're just continuing to work through some of their delays and other issues that they have going on.
All right, so Sherman Park, we're releasing the bid package before, hopefully by the end of this week is the plan. The Public Safety Center, next Monday, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Also with you.
Is hopefully that's when we make final, there's an inspection to take place on Thursday. If that goes as we anticipate, then the move-in will complete next Monday and we'll be ready to operate out of the building. And then the other project that just went out for contractors to start looking at is the South RV Park up at EOTech. So that is moving on.
With that, I'll take any questions.
Just curious, do we have an update on the ODOT's expected timeline for doing their construction along the Elm intersection?
You mean for the barricades to prevent
Yeah.
stuff? I would say after we're done with the Second Street project, so that their actual work will be fairly minimal compared to ours. So we've been coordinating with them, so they won't be installing those until after we're completed with the paving.
Oh, okay, excellent,
So,
perfect. We're not rushing to beat it. Okay, perfect.
nope.
Other council questions? Council Linton.
On your budget here, can you go to page 9? That deals with EOTech.
Okay.
Waiting for him to get to it. Are you there on page 9? Okay. I'm seeing a lot of red where they're negative percentages, and I just wanted to know what's going on here and why is it that way?
Yeah. For the TRTTPA, those come in quarterly. So that's why those are under. And actually, if you look at it, it should be 25% under budget I'm looking at the second line at TRTTPA. So it should be 25 negative, but because the actual receipts are higher, our turnover, so that negative is actually smaller. So it'll catch up by June 30th because of the timing of the receipts of those, when those tax turnovers come to the city.
Okay, you said by June?
Usually they come in after June because they're quarterly. So we'll see those in July.
Okay.
July. And then for the events, those are only 3% under, and with the event that's coming up, that will well exceed that, hopefully. I don't want to jinx anything, but we have good hopes for that. And then the miscellaneous, that looks stark because that's timing of the reimbursement for that RV project from AWS.
Okay, thank you.
Any other council questions? Sorry. Okay, public comment? Nope. Okay. Council comments? Nope. Okay. Motion to accept the March 2026 monthly financial report.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved by Counselor Meyer, second by Counselor Roberts. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Well, we already did that. All right, we are at committee reports. Do we have any city committee reports? Counselor Roberts.
On the 22nd, I attended the library board meeting. They've been working to update their bylaws, and that should hopefully be finishing up here shortly. Continued work on the strategic plan. So there were 2 meetings with the community group for strategic plan for the library, and a bunch of topics were thrown out, which were kind of refined down into different themes, and then the committee chose 3 specific themes that they want to focus on for this next 3-year cycle. Comfortable place to visit, marketing the library, and creating new readers, basically from young age all the way up to adulthood. And so the library staff is going to be working within those themes to come up with specific tasks that they want to accomplish, and they will be bringing that to us when they're done. Circulation is up 31%. Their outbound checkout books is up 22%. So that's good. The small study rooms that was created when they revamped the library have been in near constant use, which is very exciting. So much use that it was just kind of first come, first serve. And they're going to have to talk about now coordinating that use because they have so much requests to use those rooms. So down the road, I imagine that more space is going to be something they're going to be looking at because they're already using up the space they have. Their Little Wigglers program continues to go strong. Lots and lots of kids, which, exciting enough, also brings in lots of adults into the library. So as they're trying to bring people back into reading, they're not just looking at the kids, but they're trying to grab those adults when they're in there as well. The items in their collection are up about 1,000 this year. Ms. Rose said that about another 1,000 next year, and then they're going to be at the point where they're going to start weeding out the old and rotating book stock in there to keep the popular titles in stock and letting some of the older stuff flow out. The base of the statue that we were hoping to have at the unveiling, the base of the statue is here, and so the unveiling of that statue will be at a date to be determined, but hopefully here shortly. And finally, the probably most important thing that came out of our meeting is the announcement of Mr. Rose's retirement. He will be retiring effective September 1st. And so the board and the city staff are going to have to be looking at hiring a new library director. So that's the report.
Okay. Lots of good stuff. Councilor Brown.
I have a question on Councilor Roberts' report. What is the statue of actually, or is that a surprise?
He told me what it is, but because there's an unveiling, I'm not going to say. I think we need to encourage people to show up. Community members show up and you'll get to see it when it's unveiled.
When is the day actually then?
Again, to be determined. He wasn't sure,
okay.
'cause they're going to have to take time to set it up and make sure everything's good to go. So
TBD.
Where is it going to be?
right out in front of the library here.
Oh, outside?
Yeah, it's going to be right outside the front door. So, yep.
It's not me.
You didn't model for it?
Nope.
Oh, good.
Wow. Ouch. Wow. Okay, then. Any other council reports?
I do have a.
No, I'm not going to recognize you.
Good.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have we had a very, very short Parks and Rec meeting because it was on the night of the forum. And so we were only there for about 20 minutes, and Brandon is not here, so he's got the stats on it. There you go.
Okay.
My report.
Well, that was very short.
You're welcome.
Any others?
Information to share about the LOC. So.
Well, you can do that during your spot. Okay, we had a public safety meeting earlier tonight. Councilor Duran and I were there as part of that. Chief Hermiston brought forth a multitude of statistics to let us know that statistics is the only science that enables experts with using the same figures to draw different conclusions. Thank you, sir. I know another one, but it was by Mark Twain. It's a little bit different. There was a lot of information in regards to a lot of things are moving up, some moving down. Overall, crime's down 11%. 17% on the 10-year average, which is great. They still have one position yet to fill, so they're getting the people are coming off of their field training status and getting out there on their own, down to just one on that status as it stands. Officer initiated activities up 52% this year and 129% over the 10-year average. But then you got to, balancing that with, with the amount of staff that they've added during that time. So, all these numbers are as they add staff, it's going to add to some of to the percentages, which is great. I mean, it just means that they're doing, have a lot of activity in regards to the hospitals, contract, officer initiated activity, property checks and such, 4,888 just since they took the contract over, which was in June or July. So July through March. This is the types of things that miscellaneous calls for service, 135, agency assist, the citizen assist, that's where they can assist both people, members of the public and other law enforcement agencies, which is great. Knowing how shorthanded everybody is, the fact that we have officers there that are able to assist with that is a godsend, to say the least. 36 trespass calls, disturbance calls 21, arrests made 25, and case reports taken 55. These are all things that may or may not have been had we not had somebody there. And so I'd say that contract with the hospital is definitely working in our favor. And those involved with getting that accomplished are to be commended, because all that does is help the members of our community. And I thank Chief Hermiston and his staff for that. Also, another number that's really good to hear, felony arrests, even though crime's down, felony arrests are up 54% and 24% on the 10-year average. So a lot of stuff going on in regards to the police department. And again, they are set to open their doors. Well, they're already moving some of their stuff in, and hopefully in the next week or so they'll get that final inspection done and be able to move forward. They also gave us an update on the where's my notes? The what's that? Accreditation. Yes, thank you. I lost my notes on that. The accreditation. Captain Clark gave us a brief rundown of all that was involved with that. There's basically 111 different items that have to be checked, looked at, verified, proven that they've done. And out of that 111, there's 98 that are 100% complete. There's 9 that they don't have to deal with, and only 5 items left on that checklist to accomplish. And while Captain Clark did give big kudos to all of his staff, I would say that the fact that, his work on that is to be commended by itself, because that's one person doing a lot of work. And I know that there are people on this dais that's had to deal with that and know the work that goes behind that. And so they've got an on-site inspection coming up, which will be should be the final part of it. And so once that's accomplished, we will be fully accredited. The impetus behind that is the fact that, once the police department went over a specific number, which I believe is 35, then they're required by law to have that accreditation. And so when we brought on the staff for the hospital, that tipped us over that number. So great job on that, Chief, and pass it on to your staff that we are very appreciative to all the work that has went into getting that goal accomplished. Okay, so is that it for public committee reports? Good. All right. Next up, mayor's report. Okay. Well, we got a lot done on the charter review. Good job tonight on everybody participating. I believe that the spirited conversations that we had, and some of the admissions that one of us had to make, and so on. But no, a lot of good work went into that, and I cannot And I can't thank the members of the committee and the members of the council for all the work that's went into accomplishing this goal. We have, you know, that's probably one of the most important things that we can accomplish as a council, is to provide the rules, the laws, the direction that the city is headed, and keeping our constitution, as it were, current is foremost of that. You know, without having that, we can't accomplish what we need to do. So yay for them. I had the opportunity recently to participate in the League of Oregon Cities here last week. Myself, Councilor Linton, Councilor Duran, and Mr. Smith all participated in that session. Myself and City Manager Smith participated in a onboarding and discussion for city managers. It was a very good discussion. Got a lot of things brought forward, learned a few things, and the guy that gave the speech before it was fantastic. And then Councilor Duran also was one of the presenters. So, and she did an outstanding job. If you get a chance to watch that on the League of Oregon Cities website, if it's available, you should, because it was very well done. And I'm proud of you. Nice job.
Thank you.
We have the I Love My City event coming up on May 16th. We talked about that earlier. If you're going to participate in it, ilovemycity.com, sign up for it. Many things going on. It's in the same time frame as that is the recycle event, also at the New Hope Church, I believe it is. And remember, if you are participating in that and you have tires, they can't be on rims, otherwise we will hurt Councilor Kelso. He's already made that abundantly clear. And a limit of 10 tires, but they can't be on rims, and they can't be on rims. Did I get that covered good? Okay. Also, let's see. National Day of Prayer coming up. Yes, thank you. We did a proclamation on that earlier. Takes place on May 7th. Many there's like 12 different locations for participating in that, in between here and the city of Umatilla. For more information on that, go to, all one word, National Day of Prayer, hermiston.org, O-R-G. So yeah, please, if you can participate in that, it's for everyone. I think that's everything that I've got at this point in time. I've done a lot of talking here in the last 10 minutes. Yuck. Okay, Councilor McCarthy, your council president report.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say I know some of you were there. In fact, I think most of the council was present at the candidates forum. So I want to thank you for coming out and listening to the candidates speak. There was quite an evening with a lot of new but also familiar questions, some new faces. I appreciate that every seat is contested this year. I think that's the first time that's happened since I've been attending these. So that's fantastic. To that point, I just want to remind everyone that tomorrow is the last day to register to vote. So if you are not currently registered to vote, tomorrow is the last day to do that. And then election is on the 19th. Another point, and this was just put out on our Facebook page today, but this affects everyone tomorrow, between the hours of 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., the lights at the Highland and Highway 395 intersection will be out while ODOT's doing repairs. So plan your route accordingly.
They'll be in flashing mode, Chief? Okay, so they'll be in flashing mode. So the rules of the road apply. Full stop. It's when the lights don't work, it's a four-way intersection, four-way stop. It's a four-way stop. Okay.
Don't go that way.
Yeah, find someplace else to be at that time, I think. Okay, any others? Anything else? All right, council reports. Councilor Linton.
I had a lot of things I was going to discuss, but due to the lateness of the hour, I'm going to just do two things. Went to the LOC, And I wanted to discuss, I went to Charter Review. And I was very surprised. It was ran by Patty Mulville. She's the executive director of League of Oregon Cities. And one of the things that she discussed was that in the future, cities are going to need to probably compensate mayors and councilors in order to have a more open, larger pool of people. And she said that otherwise, you will have counselors that are retirees or wealthy people. And I'm going to give you her email address so you can verify this. It is PMULVIHILL at ORCities, CITIES.org. Were you there at that meeting, that charter one?
I was not.
You was not? Okay. So that was, if I don't have the phone number to there, but you could probably Google it if you want to call and get information. Now, the other part of a meeting, I don't know what it was called, but it was very interesting. I really enjoyed it. And this city has a Facebook page, and that's where they put a lot of their information because people don't come to meetings or go to meetings, and a lot of people don't know what's going on with the city and the people that are in charge, basically. So what they do is, and what they said that they showed clips of about a minute long, maybe a minute and a half, where they made videos. Some of them were funny. We just watched the whole thing. It was so good, where they would take pictures of people out working and say, this here project was approved and this is to show you where the money's going. And they had one person that had the character of Mr. Bean with trees to make it sound and look interesting. So it was funny. It was really good. And they showed us we were actually, the people in there, and it was packed, were asking them to show more videos because it was so interesting how they were presenting their city. And their population, I think they said, was only 7,000, but they had over millions of views. And so it's working for their community. And they discuss ways to bridge people to causes and how to see the exciting projects that are going on in the city. It was well done. Both meetings, they were excellent. So I'm going to stop there because it's late and I don't want to talk about the other stuff. Maybe another time.
That was the City of Independence.
City of Independence? Okay. Everybody got that? City of Independence.
Other council comments?
I also got to go to the LOC conference, and it was very well done. Thanks to the City of Pendleton for hosting. City manager also covered a session with the zones, the enterprise zones. And I also sat in on that session that Councilor Linton talked about. There was another one too that was really interesting, how the University of Eastern Oregon University has a teacher that is working with students to kind of get them engaged, doing internships or doing projects. They mentioned the collaboration that they have made with the city of Boardman, and they also have partnered up with the agency called Uvalkyrie from Hermiston also, to get them. They conducted a survey to find out if people knew about the public transit in that area. And so they went from 40 riders to 4,000 riders, just with, the students getting engaged and helping the city of Boardman create an awareness within the community. So that was a big win for them. And I mean, I also see a benefit of using them perhaps in the future for some other projects, but their session was really interesting, and it was a great opportunity for me to also participate as a panelist. And, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to present with the Women's Caucus and the People of Color Caucus. So I very much enjoy the opportunity to be able to learn new things, especially about the artificial intelligence and how it is to our best interest to kind of learn about it, know more about it, feel comfortable, and kind of not waiting for, a good day to learn and start incorporating artificial intelligence in the work of the city.
Okay. Counselor Kessel?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wasn't going to talk about the compensation for city councilors, but since Councilor Litton kind of broached the topic, I will. We had a vote on my motion to eliminate the compensation for councilors, and it didn't go my way, and I totally support the council's decision moving forward. But I want the council to know that I am a man of my word, and I have stopped taking the compensation from the city. And I've also repaid all of the money that I had received so far. So I wrote a check for $2,150.25 to the city, and now we're even. So I just want people to know that I am a man of my word. I am willing to put my money where my mouth is. So thank you. And I also wanted to mention that the Rock Hounds Rock and Gem Show is coming up May 7th through 9th at EOTech. And it's our local rock and mineral club, and they're a great group of people and a fun event to attend. And Cinco de Mayo is coming up on Sunday, May 3rd at 12 p.m. at EOTech. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. Let's see, Councilor Brown.
I just want to mention and thank honestly the police department. One of the things that we do at school regularly, at least once a month or every few months, is a lockdown drill. And so we always get support from the police department and just practicing and going over drills and responses of the sort. So just appreciate your officers are not only very professional, but really good with the kids. They really understand the kiddos. They understand how the situation may be. And so they worked really great with our middle school kids. So shout out to Officer Nava, Officer Williams, and everybody else that participated in those lockdown drills. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other council comments? It's you three.
Nope.
You two. Yeah, you two. All right, okay. No? All right. City manager report.
Just wanted to make the council aware that a marijuana initiative petition has been filed. We're going through the process that we're required to, and you could anticipate seeing people gathering signatures probably in about a month, at the end of May. Would you like me to answer?
What was?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So just to my recollection, since we did this a year or two ago, the required number of signatures is somewhere in the vicinity of about 1,600 of Hermiston voters, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Then I just wanted to mention a couple of things real quick about I Love My City. I was approached while I was at LOC in Pendleton because Councilor Hayward has talked to somebody from Hillsborough, and they're going to bring 3 or 4 of their faith leaders out to participate and see how we run that event because they want to do something similar in Hillsborough. So I thought that was great to have him talk to me about that. And then the youth advisors from the high school are going to be participating in I Love My City, doing some tree planting over in Belt Park. So
very nice.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. So we are going to adjourn the city council meeting and reconvene as the Urban Renewal Agency. Call the meeting to order. New business. Per resolution 25, number 25, amending text North Hermiston Urban Renewal Plan detailing land acquired for the Northeast Aspen Drive project Mr. Smith.
Mr. Spencer, please.
This is a housekeeping measure that we need to do with our urban renewal plan for the North Urban Renewal District. Section 7, as it stands now, states that Aspen Drive is going to be built at a location to be determined. And this resolution now goes in, now that we have accepted those two deeds earlier in the meeting, and amends Section 7 to say that the location of the street has been determined and it will be at the location on those two deeds, and then those deeds are also added to the plan.
Okay. Questions? Council questions? Seeing none? Public comment? Oh, whip, okay.
I apologize. It might be to the city manager or to you, Mr. Spencer, but remind me, this had to be, was it two properties that we?
There are two lots. One is owned by Good Shepherd and one is owned by a firm called AAA Investments. And so about the first 200 feet of the street crosses the Good Shepherd land, and then the rest of it until it gets to 4th Street crosses the AAA land.
Okay. And since obviously none of us, it never came really forth to the council, that means it didn't go through eminent domain or any means. We negotiated with the property owners.
We had willing sellers, so we did not need to go through the condemnation process.
Awesome. Thank you. Are we expecting, with the connection of these roads, are we expecting a light or intersection at some point?
We have had Kittleson do the required signal study, but it will take development before we will meet the warrants.
Awesome. Thank you.
Other council questions? All right. Public comment? Oh, okay. Members' comments? Councilor Brown?
Honestly, this is one of the projects that when I heard about it, I was really excited about. I mean, what better way to bring more businesses to this area than by building basically a spur off of the busiest road that we have, 395, and to attract businesses. So I think this is a big step for the city in trying to create more business opportunities, economic development. That's our most valuable piece of real estate right off of 395. And so by having roads that connect that way, there can be businesses on opposite sides of the road. And so I think that presents an enormous opportunity for the city. So I think this is a project long coming, and I'm really excited for this.
Other council comments? Or member comments? Seeing none? Can I get a motion to adopt HERA resolution number 25 and lay upon the record?
So moved. Second.
I'm going to give it to Councilor Duran and for the motion, and Councilor Roberts for the second. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Do we have any unscheduled communications? Seeing none. Anybody have anything else to add? We are